Let me just say a couple of things. One is, what happened to that young woman was horrible. And it's everybody's nightmare. If you're in any public space, a subway, whatever, that something bad is going to happen to you or somebody you care about. So it does strike a chord. We don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race mongering, hate mongering, it's wrong. Then he says that if something like that had happened the other way, there would be sweeping changes imposed on society. Where is the George Floyd Policing Act? It didn't pass. Even when you had a white police officer murder a black man on live television, the whole world saw, there were no sweeping changes. In fact, not one law was passed at the federal level. So I think that's an important thing to point out. The other thing is, you mentioned the thing about cashless bail. I think this is a big challenge that we have. Would you have felt better if there had been cash bail and the mom had come and put down $1,000 to let him out? It's not about cashless bail or no cashless bail. It's about the fact that we don't know how to deal with people who are hurting in the way this man was hurting. Hurt people hurt people. What happened was horrible, but it becomes an opportunity for people to jump on bandwagons. And then for someone like Charlie Kirk, he should be ashamed of himself. No one mentioned the word race, white, black, or anything except him. What people mention is the horror of what happened to this young woman.
Unfortunately.
All
This-
right.
Van Jones is such a retard. Holy shit. That is the worst take ever. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Oh, we don't know what to do as a society when there's a crazy person who keeps going in and out of jail for committing crimes, including violent crimes, and then their own mother is trying to get them involuntarily committed because their own mother's like, listen, government, my child is a danger to society. He needs to be put in an institution. He needs to be kept away from the public. And they still can't get it done. And Van Jones is like, oh, we just don't know what to do with people that are hurting in this way. I'll tell you what you do. You put them in a cannon and you launch them into the sun. Okay? It's
So
not
true.
our problem. It's no one else's fucking problem. It is sad that there are people that have schizophrenia or have some other mental disorder that we can't cure because we don't have magic crazy be gone pills. It doesn't exist yet. I wish it does. I wish you could give these people magic pills and they would be totally normal, productive, healthy members of society, but it doesn't exist yet. And until it exists, then you need to lock these people up and keep them away from everyone else. It sucks for them, but guess what? That's better for everyone else.
Yeah, he got the cashless bail situation wrong. I completely object to the framing of this discussion on CNN. So instead of actually talking about the story, they frame it as, oh my God, someone on the right is race mongering. They
Right.
like they don't even bring up the context of the story. Right? It's not about the story. It's about the right wing talking about this story because they're all a bunch of racists. Like that's the story on CNN.
Well, it's
how the fuck does he know that it wasn't a racist attack? Like there's clips going around. I don't know if it's real or not, or somebody dubbed the audio in of him saying that he got that white girl.
yes.
But I
think
don't know.
Yeah, those are real. Those are real clips.
I'm not, look, if it was a black girl sitting there, do you think he'd do that?
Of course
I'm
not.
not sure he would. Jesus fucking Christ.
If a crazy white person stabbed a random black girl to death, and then after, first of all, they'd all assume it would be racist, like just from the
immediately,
right.
immediately,
right. There'd always be the question: oh, was this race based? Was this race based? And then if there was a clip of them afterwards saying, "I got that black girl," they'd be all confirmed, obviously
Yes,
racist,
totally,
obviously,
totally.
Evil racist right winger.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. Now, to be like 100% as like good faith Gary as possible, if this is just a crazy person who's schizophrenic. Okay, so I don't know if they were motivated by race, regardless of whether they're saying they killed a white person or not, right? But putting that aside, the more important point is, yes, that Van Jones and all these other people would, if the races were reversed, they would all immediately jump to that conclusion. There wouldn't be all this like, oh my God, we just need to think about this for a second. No, they'd be going on. They'd be blaming Elon Musk. They'd be blaming everyone for saying they've been cultivating this attitude of racism in our society, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, they'd say all the things that I'm saying about why a black man thinks he's going to raise his status by killing an innocent white woman on the fucking train, right?
Yes. Yes. Well, I don't know if the guy was
It's
thinking that, but because this guy's just crazy. But yes, in general,
oh
it's
my
just it's the reaction to this is very frustrating to me because there's this like narrative that has been formed, and maybe you should bring up the Destiny tweet because like the Destiny tweet sort of encapsulate this, and
I'll bring it up now.
this is such a terrible concept. This is such a terrible take. Destiny says on X, it's funny because I take a screenshot because I'm blocked, but whatever.
Still, oh
Right.
nice.
He says, so there was a guy, I'm unfamiliar with him, some black content creator who was complaining about the fact that there was this Ukrainian woman and she is murdered. And the mayor issued a pretty bad statement about the whole situation, which we talked about on Sunday
On
briefly.
Sunday, yeah, it was
Yeah,
completely pathetic.
right.
Fucking horrible.
Right. And this guy had been arrested at least 14 times. He had been in jailed for multiple years for committing violent
I
crimes.
believe it was 5 years. Yeah.
Yes.
He got out early, a year early, I guess, for good behavior.
Right. Right. Now his mom is claiming that he was violent, like he did that violent crime. He went to prison, and when he got out, he was crazier than ever. So, and we talked about that a little bit on Sunday too. But so Destiny says, so is this the standard now? We have to have wall-to-wall coverage every single time insert group I don't like here commits a murder. So this is like so. First of all, it's very dishonest because I don't think when this story was starting to like break and go viral on social media, people were not demanding wall-to-wall coverage. People were not saying, "Oh my God, this needs to be talked about 24/7 in every news station." No, they're saying, "Why is it that the mainstream media doesn't seem to be talking about this story at all?" You look
Yeah, we
on, New York
all know
Times,
why.
Washington Post, yeah, CNN, local or not even local, because I think there was a local news story about it in the city that happened, but like national news story, there was no coverage of this whatsoever. So it wasn't like this demand that there was wall-to-wall coverage. It was just, why is this? No one seems to be talking about this. And then there's this like weird, I don't know if it's like gaslighting. I don't know if it's people tricking themselves because this is how I perceive it. There's a lot of people who are upset, understandably, that there are bad actors on social media that are pushing this story because they're just racist. Okay. You go next, there's a lot of fucking racist people, a lot of white nationalists, a lot of groypers. And if you follow these accounts, which I follow some of them, just to see what they're doing, like every day, here's another story of a black person who committed some violence against a white person, and they just push it again and again and again. Right. So I understand that there are people that's their motivation. Okay.
Yes, they are fucking racist and they want to
Yes.
take advantage of this. That doesn't
Right.
mean that we can't
doesn't
discuss
mean
the
that-
situation.
Yes, that doesn't mean that if there is a situation that they're talking about, even if they're talking about it for the wrong reasons, that we all have to close our eyes and pretend like it doesn't exist because you
Yes.
say like, oh, well, we can't talk about this story because if we do, we give the racist a win. No, this is I don't understand how we're living in the year 2025 and people still haven't figured this shit out yet. Part of the reason that the white nationalist movement and the Groyper movement, also other shit, has gotten as popular as it is now is because they were talking about issues that everyone else was too afraid to talk about. They were talking about issues of like, look at how shitty males and white males are being treated by a lot of mainstream
Yes.
society.
Fuck yeah.
You're saying just because you're white and you're male, your thoughts, your feelings, your struggles don't matter. Well, they matter to us. Now, also, we're racist and Jews are behind everything, so believe all that, right? So they would use a real struggle.
Minor downside, but
yeah, minor downside. They would use a real struggle, a real problem that people were experiencing to sucker people down into this like horrible racist propaganda way of thinking.
Yep.
And the way to combat that is to say, hey, we need to be able to talk about these issues that are affecting white people and white males, young white males specifically, in the mainstream media without demonizing them in order to not allow or to not have it so that all the fucking young white people get sucked down in this fucking pathway. This was I thought everyone understood this in 2025 because we have all been watching it happen. And yet this story, it's like people just forgot. They all drank the amnesia Kool-Aid again and forgot, oh, well, if only the bad people that you don't like are talking about the story, guess what? that's you losing the propaganda fight. That's you losing the fight to those people, because everyone's going to go, oh, I guess if I'm a white person, the media doesn't care about me. So I guess I got to go side with like the racists. You're going to develop, it's kind of like what we're talking about when people go to prison, and the only way to survive in prison is to join a gang. And most of the gangs are like race based.
Yeah, of course.
You don't want normal
No,
society to have that
yeah.
same fucking mentality where people feel like I have to join a race-based gang to protect myself.
Well, it's a shame, but we're, I think, halfway down that path already with all the fucking critical theory and that kind of stuff. Yes. Oh yeah, definitely. Yes. The problem, the reason why this can't happen, and is super unfortunate, is because so much of this hate towards males, and particularly white males, is coming from the fucking leftist academia hate mob.
Right.
So how are they going to come out and say, oh, we need to have a realistic conversation about this, when they're the ones fucking doing it? They're the ones responsible for this. They would have to take some sort of accountability before that could happen.
Yeah, well, they're not going to do it, obviously.
Yeah, of course they're not. They're not. They're going to bury their heads in the sand, and they're going to pretend none of this is happening. Oh my God, we're not completely giving excuses for all of black Americans to fucking hate white people. When that's what they're doing. They're manufacturing excuses, rationalization, so that this guy can hop on the train and have a rationalization why he can kill any white person, because all white people are racist. All white people are greedy fucking racists and responsible for the reason why he's homeless and fucking jobless and fucking a drug addict.
Right. Or just that we don't, as a society, we shouldn't focus on these events because they're not important, which is what everyone was saying who was defending the lack of media on this. Just
they're
to me,
saying,
again,
look, this is a one-off, a terrible event, a terrible tragedy, but the crime is completely down. Everything is okay.
Yes. Even though we've had it come out that they have been misreporting the crime statistics this year. So,
right. Yes, exactly.
The whole idea, oh, the crime's all down. It's like, is it? That doesn't seem accurate. And
well, yeah, and that they downgraded a bunch of stuff from felonies to misdemeanors. I mean, it's all nonviolent crime, but it's like shoplifting and fucking theft and shit, breaking and entering, right?
Yes. And so you have that people in the media and on the left, they don't want to report the story because they're just so afraid of giving the racists any oxygen. But then also there's the other reason they don't want to talk about it is because right now there's this whole political fight with Trump where he, wants to throw the National Guard into all these big cities. And so this issue of like how bad crime is and whether there is crime, whether it's a problem and blah, blah, blah. It's all been roped into like the Trump anti-Trump mindset. So people are like, oh, if I don't like Trump, then, I can't give oxygen to this story because that just plays into the narrative that there's all this crime in the cities and it's going to justify Trump, doing Trumpian things with the National Guard. And it's just, it's so annoying to me because, again, if you just ignore the story, you're just giving oxygen to the side that you claim you want to fight against.
The mainstream media, CNN, will go out of their way to protect black Americans from negative stereotypes about black people. I'm somewhat sympathetic to that. But in this situation, it's like they've spun a story that could very well create that negative stereotype into a stereotype that white people are fucking greedy racists and all Republicans are racist.
Yeah.
Like that's their angle for tackling this story. So you can't be protecting black Americans from negative stereotypes and at the same time be creating a stereotype that every white American is a fucking racist. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So what the fuck is he doing? This whole framing for this story is just Charlie Kirk is a fucking racist. Look, I don't know that Charlie Kirk is a racist. I would bet that he's not a racist at all. What the fuck is CNN doing? What are they doing?
Well, and then when they finally had to report on this story because Trump brought it up and the social media was, got too big. And so the framing that so many of the articles, the mainstream articles, when they finally started reporting it was not just this horrible situation happened. It was, the right wingers on social media. The
racist right wingers who are all fucking racist are talking about this story because they're fucking racist.
Right.
That's what it is. The story that they're reporting is the right wing is racist. That's the fucking story. That's their story. That's every fucking story that they have.
Yeah.
It's insane. Look, how is this helping race relations, Sitch?
It doesn't.
How the
It
fuck
doesn't.
is this helping race relations?
No.
So the next guy that gets on the train, he's watching CNN and he's like, oh yeah, all these white people are racist. Maybe I should kill some white people. We'll get rid of some of these racists. Let's clean up the streets. Get these fucking racists out of here. I mean, that's the way they're framing the National Guard coming in. It's going to be a bunch of fucking racist National Guard people.
Right.
What the fuck? What the fuck? These people are the racists. It's so ironic. That's why the story is so ironic, because CNN is a fucking racist. They're all a bunch of fucking racists. They can't even see a story through a clear lens. It has to be clouded by racism, and it's racism against white people. It's fucking crazy.
It is. It is so crazy. And like the point that you brought up, which is, again, I am sympathetic too to the media saying, okay, we don't want to create negative stereotypes.
So
of
am
black
I.
people.
I
Okay.
fucking all I talk about is stereotypes. Okay.
Yeah, completely justifiable. Again, I don't like that there's all these people on X that all they do is they just find videos of black people committing crimes for their own nefarious purposes, even though there's obviously tons of videos of white people committing crimes, which they just for some reason never have, right? So I don't like that either. But then what you said is so true, because if that's the case, and I'm fine with that being the case, then don't create negative stereotypes for white people.
For white people,
Don't
look,
create
the
negative
whole
stereotypes
George
for police.
Dude, the
This is
whole
what-
George Floyd thing was based on creating negative stereotypes for police and white people. You totally agree with that, right?
Yes.
That's exactly what it was.
That whole, like, so much of the narrative around the George Floyd thing was, oh, well, obviously Derek
It's a
Chauvin
racist cop.
did this for racist reasons, even though there was zero evidence whatsoever. No one said anything. No one was able to show anything that race had anything to do with the situation whatsoever.
Yes, and if you went on the street today and asked people, just man on the street interviews, was Derek Chauvin a white racist? Everyone would say, of course he was. Yes,
Obviously,
he was.
yeah. That was the motivation, right?
Yes, yes. And that's because of CNN. CNN has created this fucking stereotype that every single white person is a racist. Yeah. You see, and what, like, what are people supposed to think? You think people are supposed to feel sorry when a racist gets killed on the fucking subway? No, they start worrying about the homeless man, homeless man who the system abandoned.
It is like pathological for some of these people that they've been like so mind infected with this sort of I'd say like alt left mentality of you just have to feel forever sorry for the criminal. You have to feel forever sorry for the crazy person as opposed to the victims of the crime. It's so fucked.
Look, if a bear wandered into a bunch of campers and killed them all, okay, and they came in and killed the bear, like people would feel sorry for the bear, but they'd feel sorry for the campers first. Like these people can't even feel sorry for the campers first.
Right.
They're like, oh my God, that poor innocent homeless man who was abandoned by the system. Yeah, but he killed a whole family.
Yes.
I know, but think of him. It's insane. It's
I really
insane.
think
And look, I do think it's the racism. I do look at these people and I think they're fucking racists.
I think the racism is part of it. There is, and I think we've had 20 or 30 years of indoctrination unfortunately, from the left about how all these people that do crimes and that have mental problems, they're all innocent baby angel Aladdins who are just left behind by society, and it's not their fault, and they have no personal responsibility. And if only you gave them like the right magical social worker, if the social worker said the right magic words to them, it would snap them out of their craziness and they'd suddenly become like the wonderful citizen. And the only reason they're crazy is society's fault. It's not their fault. It's not, or not just a random chance of nature's fault. It's society's fault. And we've had 20, 30, maybe even 40 years of movies and television shows basically brainwashing people into thinking this shit.
Yeah.
None of these people fucking have to deal with any of these crazy people. And these people they had to deal with crazy people like this on a daily basis, they would
Oh.
understand that this is like not the way. This is not
No,
reality.
no.
Okay.
They're all gated
Yes.
communities, fucking giving their prognostication from behind
Yes.
high ivory tower walls. And they
Yes.
want you to deal with the rapists and murderers on the bus and on the train.
Right.
They don't have to deal with that shit.
No. No. And the idea that this story wouldn't be widely reported, like just 15 years ago. Okay, so before like woke stuff came out or like dominated, this story would have been national 15 years ago, hugely national, because
hell yeah.
it already like it is a horribly tragic story that it feels like it's like straight out of a like a Greek tragedy or something. You have a person, you have a woman, a young woman who flees
Escaping
war.
a war zone.
Okay,
Yeah.
she's escaping a war zone so she doesn't get blown up by a mortar shell. And she comes to America, a country that's not at war, that is, you know, you'd think would be much safer. And then she's killed completely fucking randomly while she's looking at her phone by a crazy person who's been in and out of prison because the system is so utterly failed because of soft on crime policies to keep the person in prison. And not only that, but it's like it's caught on video. And there's a fucking horrific picture of the moment this person is about to die that goes viral. And you're telling me that the media, an organization that tries to make money by getting people to click on fucking stories, isn't going to look at that story and say, oh my God, this
If
is
it
like
bleeds,
the
it
fucking most
leads,
viral
right?
story ever.
If it bleeds, it leads has been replaced by if it's racist, it leads.
Well,
That's all they care about is a racist angle. White people being racist, that's all they want.
Well, and they just, yeah, I think that's part of it. I don't know if it's 100% because I do think a lot of it is they don't want to give Trump the win, or they perceive it as giving Trump the win. They just can't, because I fucking
Oh,
I
man.
hate this. Part of why I really don't like Donald Trump in politics. He's so polarizing that any issue like mind fucks both the people that hate Trump and the people that love Trump, to just become so divided on this issue that no one could like actually look at anything from a nonpartisan lens anymore and be like, okay, can we just look at this and say there's a problem with crime? Like, it doesn't have to be a fucking stupid left-right issue.
I mean, Trump is winning me over with all his talk of cleaning up the streets, and Trump does seem proactive. This nation has been on hold while Biden was president because his brain was spaghetti. It just seems like, I mean, there's a lot I dislike about Trump, but if he's going to clean the fucking streets up, I am all in favor of that.
The Democrats are fucking out of their goddamn minds if they can't get their heads out of their fucking ass and take all the alt-left soft on crime shit stains and just throw them into the fucking trash can and never listen to these stupid retards ever again. They're making everything worse. They're making society so fucking trash.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they're big time voters either. So I don't even think they'd take a big hit electorally, and they'd start winning over a bunch of moderate voters who are like, yeah, I don't really like Donald Trump. He seems a bit brash for me, but I'm not gonna put up with these career criminals running around in my streets. So I guess I'm forced to vote for Trump. Yeah.
Bring up the post I sent you from Sock Dunlap.
Okay.
Which is just, oh my God, this is so stupid. So, we talked to Sock Dunlap, didn't we? Like once
we did, yeah. I saw she was like, "Oh my God, why did I ever talk to this person? They're fucking
why
idiot."
did I ever interact with this retard?
I know. That was great.
Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, because Sock Dunlap was the one. He was like, he got in some big fight with Dev about, I think it was about, what was it? Something about, it was like whether wokeness was really communism or socialism, whatever. Because he's, forever trying to whitewash socialism. And so he looks at this story and he says, cars kill 40,000 people a year. Homicides kill 20,000 people a year. 90% among people who know each other, not strangers on the bus. In New York City's worst year, it had 10 subway murders and 1 billion riders a day. That the average is 3. New York City has 200 fatal car crashes per year. Okay, so the whole point is he's trying to make is you shouldn't care about this story because it's not that statistically likely that it's going to
now do it with trans women in sports. Sock Dunlap.
Yes, yes. Do it with trans suicide.
Yeah.
Do it with trans suicide, or better yet, okay, better fucking yet. And this is why, like, I saw this and this person, ideology
It's infuriating.
poisons your mind. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
On this is for all sides. Okay. We're gonna do 100% maximal, 100% all sides. Ideology poisons your mind. It makes you unable to perceive how insanely hypocritical you're being and the truth about reality. Because we had, and I retweeted and I, quote tweeted this, and he didn't respond, is it's so insane. We all lived through the BLM protests slash
Yeah.
riots
George Floyd.
with
Yeah.
George Floyd. And you can go back in SDL's timeline, and I did, and you don't see at any fucking point SDL like, oh, listen, people on the left, we should all chill out about the whole George Floyd thing, because actually it's very not statistically likely that you are going to be an unarmed black person killed by the police. In fact, it's very few times a year that ever even fucking, it's very few people that ever happens to. You're far more likely to be killed by someone you know than a police officer, significantly. You're far more likely to die in a car crash. You're far more likely to have heart disease, blah, 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 right? None of this fucking shit comes up whatsoever when it comes to the left's, BLM narrative. No, then Stockton left is all like, oh my God, we need to reform, the police, and we need to reform we need to have more soft on crime policies and blah, blah, blah. Like, it just all goes out the fucking window. It all goes out the window. Or even when it comes to school shootings. None of these people, when they're all saying, oh, there's a school shooting, we have to, do all this gun
ban
reform.
all weapons. Everyone turn your weapons in.
Right. We have to do all this gun reform. I don't see Stockton left or any of these fucking people like, oh, well, actually, statistically, you're very unlikely to get shot by a school shooter. Blah, blah. Like, I hate these people. And I hate how ideology poisons the human mind and makes everyone so fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's infuriating.
It is.
It's the partisan mind. The partisan mind. Partisan ideology. Team ideology.
And I sent you, Jesse Singo had a great post. So what even about this is from like last year. This is the classic post that we should all just repost in response to any of this stupid shit. He says, he's making fun of like the people that bring this argument. He says, quote, tell everyone my death was statistically rare. Me reassuring everyone as I bleed out after a random guy with 15 prior shanks me on the Q train on my way to see Kung Fu Panda 4 in IMAX.
Yeah.
It's just so like, who cares if it's like, oh my God. It's infuriating. It's infuriating. Yeah, which
they would never say this with trans people at all.
No,
they would never say that. They would never say like, oh, racism is down. It's very unlikely that someone's going to be racist against you.
How many times?
Is it 0?
What are the statistics on a racially motivated killing of a black person by a white person in America?
Oh yeah,
it's fucking super low, right? It's insanely low, and yet it's we have to talk about it 24/7. We talk about it nonstop, whatsoever. Right. So I don't care that the people that are pushing the story, I'm sure a lot of them are doing it for racist reasons, and yes, there's an irony that like, oh, suddenly now those people care about Ukraine. I get it, but there is an actual reason that people should be talking about this story. If this was just a random person, it still would have been like a massive story just because of the narrative behind it. But if this was just a guy who never had any interactions with the law, no one knew anything about him, he never did anything, and then he had some sort of mental snap that no one saw coming and no one could see coming and killed this woman, okay, I think we'd be in a little bit different scenario. It'd still be a horrific story, but you'd be like, okay, well, I don't like, how do we deal with that as a society? Like some random person snaps and there's nothing to do about it. But that's not what happened. This is a person who was in and out of prison consistently again and again and again. He was on the fucking bullshit cashless bail situation. His mom was trying to get him committed. And fucking shame on Van Jones. He's all like, well, what if his mom paid him? His mom wouldn't have fucking bailed him out because
tried
she
to
wanted
commit
him
him
locked up, you fucking retard.
Yeah, like, she threw him out of the house because she felt in danger.
This is why cashless bail is nonsense. This is why it's bullshit. Because there are dangerous people out there and everyone fucking around them knows that they're dangerous and they'll say, oh, I'm not paying that person's bail. Keep them in there. Keep them locked up.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, my God.
They know. That's exactly right. That's such a check on the power right there. When no one will show up and pay your fucking bail, you're a fucking loser.
Yes.
Holy shit.
But no, it has to be, the entire story has to be shaped around, oh, How dare the right wing talk about this? Like, stop giving them a. If you really care about that, Van Jones, if you really care about that, anyone left, then don't give them the win. Giving
Fuck
them
Van
wins
Jones.
and
Van
wins
Jones
and
is
wins on these
in
fucking
my
issues.
eyes, Van Jones is a fucking racist piece of shit. All these people that promote this stereotype that every single goddamn Republican is racist. I mean, I hate it. I hate the Republicans that go out there and promote this story that every single liberal is a fucking socialist. How is it any different? How
Right.
is it fucking any different? There are
It's
plenty
the
of
same.
Republicans who are not racist, who grew up learning color blindness, who are fucking incensed by racism, just like everyone is in our modern society. And fucking to say that all of people on the right are racist just because you have this niche minority is bonkers. And fucking CNN should know better. They should fucking know better.
Yeah.
They look, they when it comes to black people, they know it. They're like, look, a small minority population of black people are violent criminals. Doesn't mean that all black Americans are violent criminals. They know better when it comes to them. When it comes
Right.
to us, they're like, fuck those people.
Yeah.
Right? What the
Because
fuck?
they've been brain melted by the P plus P equals R conversation. It's just
Yes, that black people can't be racist.
it's just or that it doesn't matter. They've been completely brainwashed into this concept that bigotry against white people doesn't matter because white people have all the power.
Yeah, I just look, I don't know. Maybe we'll dig in. Maybe they'll uncover more about this guy. I mean, obviously, if the races were reversed, the FBI would be in a fucking deep dive on whether or not this was a hate crime, right? Whether or not this was a racially motivated hate crime. I don't know.
Right.
We're not going to get that deep dive here, right?
Right.
Because nobody gives a fuck if it was a racially motivated hate crime because it was a black guy killing a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
But look, I would like to know that. I would like to know if his mind was fucking poisoned by this ideology.
Yeah.
So,
Or he was just hearing fucking voices in his head or what was going on. Sure.
Supposedly he's schizophrenic, but that doesn't mean he can't be driven by an ideology. That doesn't mean he doesn't have a belief system.
Yeah. You can be schizophrenic and racist.
Yes.
Definitely possible. Yes.
It's just so crazy.
Oh God. Ryan Wolford, $20 says, I'll seed another $20 if Ace comes onto this stream. Why is that?
What's going on? Well, Ace was throwing down a bunch of super chats too, so he obviously plus he was defending Destiny in the
which is insane. Ace defending Destiny. Ace, come on, what's going on here? Defending Destiny. What are you doing? What are you doing? Ace for
Destiny will never talk about the anti-white bias in the media. He will never fucking talk about it, and it's the biggest issue on the left. It bugs the shit out of me because so many people on the left are just giant fucking hypocrites. Like they will march around nose in the air, standing on their pedestal, talking about how racism is so evil, and then they will promote every anti-white racist stereotype in the book 24/7.
Well, with Destiny, he hates the Trump supporters so much that everything has to be through that lens of like, is this help Trump supporters or hurt Trump supporters? And that's all. That's the only way he can understand information. And so, since this is a narrative that, since this, as I said, is wrapped up in the Trump crime issue, like he's going to have the worst take. Because I think Destiny, like years ago during Kyle Rittenhouse, would have had a much better take on this entire incident. But now, because of the whole, because of where the trajectory is gone, he just can't perceive it correctly.
Yeah, look, he supported Kyle Rittenhouse, and everyone was saying Kyle Rittenhouse was a Trump supporter. So this Destiny probably wouldn't have even supported Kyle Rittenhouse. Hayden Dill for $2 says, Adam thanks no Republicans are racist. I mean, so no Democrats or socialists? Come on, let's be real here.
Right.
Let's be real here, okay?
Let's be real, yeah. Ace for $5 says, this tweet is why people question if you're really the smart one on the show. You did a horrible job explaining your position in it. First of all, we're both the smart ones, okay? So how dare you?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Me and Adam are equally smart. I mean, maybe I'm a tiny, like a micro micro nanometer smarter. But
Yeah,
yeah, we're both the smart ones.
one of the smartest things that Sitch has ever said to me was that Donald Trump won't run for a second term. And then he
That's
bet me
true.
$500 that he wouldn't run. So that's
That's true.
obviously he's the smart one.
Adam is
So,
significantly better at predicting
I'm
Trump's
in, yeah.
behavior than
I would say
will
I'm
ever
more
be. Yes.
intuitive. I would say I'm more intuitive.
You
And
are.
Sitch is
That's
more
true.
like methodical. Let's
That's
say.
true. It's true. We have
Yes,
very
more
different.
autistic.
We have very
we have very
different
autistic.
intelligences. Yes.
Yeah,
That's true.
very different thinking styles. So
So chat here. Let me read you my post on it. Chat. You tell me is Ace right or am I right? So this is in response to Destiny. Destiny said, "So this is the standard now. We need to have wall-to-wall coverage every single time. Insert group I don't like here commits a murder," which I explain why it's like dishonest. So I responded to this saying that's a terrible take. There are people who want to promote any sort of crime with a black perpetrator because they want to push negative stereotypes, and there are people who will refuse to cover or downplay any crime committed by a black perpetrator out of a paralyzing fear of pushing negative stereotypes and desperation to not give the other side a win. These are all incredibly damaging to our society. Hiding crime only makes the people pushing the story for racist reasons more persuasive, not less. It also destroys the ability to talk about the real issue of how these softened crime policies let people bounce in and out of prison, and how it's too difficult to get people that are dangerous committed to mental institutions, parentheses, as this perpetrator's own mother tried to do in this case. Nothing can be fixed if problems are hidden from half the population. All it does is divide us further by cementing two completely different worldviews based on what flavor of news is consumed. Not to mention the insane hypocrisy the media that is on the left engages in when they hype up any story of a white person or police officer doing crime, but hide stories like this, further eroding trust in most media sources while pushing people to consume their own partisan news.
yeah, that's a banger tweet.
What is poorly explained in that tweet?
We can
Please.
send him the link if you want to just
Sure,
talk
if he
to him,
wants to
so.
come on and argue with us. I don't understand that. I think I laid that out pretty straightforward, pretty well. So I'm not sure where the hang up is on that one.
The reason why partisanship is so bad these days is because of these separate media silos. That's a giant fucking problem. You've got half of
Yes.
America who thinks the biggest problem in America is racism, and you've got
Right.
half the people who think the biggest problem in America is immigration.
Yeah, that is yes, and that's why I put that in there because that is the main issue. Is that if you're on the left, you consume news and you get specific stories fed to you. If you're on the right, you consume the news and get specific stories fed to you, and they're different stories. And so you talk to someone on the left, and you're like, well, "What's the big issues going on today?" And they like rattle off something. And you talk to someone on the right, and you're like, "What's the big issues?" They rattle off completely different things because that's what their news is focusing on. And then both sides, the left and right news, will downplay the news that makes their side look fucking stupid. And this is what drives people into these separate corners where they view the other side as totally fucking evil and they can't actually come to some sort of agreement. Not to mention, again, we live in a fucking democracy. Okay. People have to vote on how they want policies to work. And people need to understand, okay, there is a big issue with these soft end crime policies where people are able to just bounce in and out of prison in like forever until they commit some horrible crime. I think we do need to bring back some kind of 3 strikes law or something to like really slam people for this shit.
Yeah. I was wondering what happened to the 3 strikes law.
Well, there might have been problems. I think there were some problems with 3 strike laws because it'd be like, I think if I don't, I might be misremembering. I thought it was something like you could sometimes you could get multiple strikes for one offense, or like there's some like problems with it, or people will get hit with like very minor things. But
we need one strike laws. That's what we need.
I do think you can bring back, and do think we should bring back some kind of 3 strike law that is just to prevent people from doing this bouncing in and out of prison bullshit.
Yeah, frequent flyers. We got to bring them down. 200 frequent flyers can destroy a city.
Yes.
I sent Ace a link. I don't know if he wants to come on.
Ace for $5 says, guys, if you can't see Trump and the right are exploiting this tragedy, then you guys show why people think centrists are tools. Ace, you've literally made my entire point. That's the whole thing.
Of course, I understand exploiting the tragedy. We're not denying that. Jesus fucking Christ.
Like this is what I'm saying, where you're so partisan. You can only look it through that lens, and then you self-destruct and you're self-defeating because the very thing that by hiding it, you're just giving them the win. I'm trying to tell you why your strategy is fucking stupid from your own argument, from your own perspective, even if you don't care about the issue.
Most of the reason he can capitalize on it is because the media is spinning it and
Yes.
hiding from it and doing fucking weird shit with it. If they weren't doing that, it would be a lot harder for him to capitalize on it because everyone would be saying, we all agree, this is terrible.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm saying. If this was a story where you would like, okay, there was like, what could we do about it? It was some random person goes crazy. No one could have foreseen it coming. Like, it'd be a tragic story. I still think it'd be reported because of like the weird narrative tragedy angle to it. But if there's nothing you can do about it, it's, to me, it like kind of becomes less of a story. If it's something that you can do about it, which we definitely could in this situation, then it should be reported constantly so that the voting public can make these decisions and change policy by voting.
I am just as incensed about the media response to it as I am about the actual murder. It's
Yes.
and look, I blame the media. I think the media is partially responsible for this because they create this environment where fucking everyone hates white people. It's just
Yeah.
fucking, and it's okay. It's culturally acceptable to hate white people. Like they started a fucking GoFundMe for this guy's legal defense. That's fucking
Well, that might have been a
disgusting.
troll, though. We don't know if that was real, but because the guy
So
who
look,
did it was like, or the guy whose picture they used was like a criminal who had been accused, I think maybe even convicted of like rape, and it was the same picture in his criminal record folder, which seems like, why would you use like the same picture? I don't know. So that could have, who knows what was up with that. That could
what
have been,
allows people to donate to it though?
no, that's true. People
The
would
people
actually
who
donate
donated
to
to it are fucking sick. Are
Right.
fucking sick.
Right.
If you watch somebody kill someone in cold blood on the train and you're donating to their GoFundMe because you're like, oh yeah, go kill Whitey, you're a fucking disgusting racist piece of shit. But look, we live in a society where that's condoned, right? Obviously, there's the legacy of slavery that makes it okay for them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking horrible. That
Well,
how
the
can
same
that
thing-
how can that society survive?
Yeah. It was with the same thing with the
Yeah, the black
uh,
kid that killed
who
his
stabbed
classmate. Yeah.
the football player.
Yes,
Which
the media is
before
is
anyone
doing this.
But yeah, before people really knew the facts on that, it was already like, oh, we have to, defend this person for some weird racialized narrative or something.
Look, just like Van Jones did here, just like Van Jones did, he ran right in and he said, "Oh, it's disgusting for you to think this guy was motivated by racism, right?" Van Jones, the guy who says we all know white people are all fucking racist. We all know Charlie Kirk is a racist. We all know Charlie Kirk is only talking about this story because he's deeply, deeply racist and he fucking hates black people. That
Right.
guy,
Right.
that guy. It's, oh God, it just fucking drives me crazy. It drives me crazy because he will focus so intently on, oh, we can't create negative stereotypes for black people. We have to be very cautious. And at the same time, just goes out there and fucking murders white people with stereotypes, murders them. As far as I'm concerned, he has blood on his hands for this murder.
Well, I don't know if I go that far, but
Fucking, no, it's insane. Look, you don't know. You don't know this guy's situation, right?
yeah, we don't know. Right.
But
we
look,
don't know.
you look at the kid who killed his classmate, right? And how many people donated to his fucking GoFundMe, and how many of the comments were like, "Oh yeah, good, you got a fucking white kid." That's that is because of the white stereotype that all whites are racist against blacks. That's exactly what it is. People believe this shit, and it's caustic. It's tearing society apart. And look, I don't. If we lived in 1950s America and most white people walked out and saw a black person and they thought that guy's a criminal, he's going to steal my car, that's a fucked up society to live in, right? Well, now we live in a society where 90% of black people go out and they see a white person and they think that person is racist against me. Yep. What the fuck? It's the same exact thing. We live in the 1950s again. We do.
There's this video that I forgot to bring up on Sunday. I don't know. I'm even worried about watching it because I think it just makes people, it brings up too much racial animosity. Okay.
Oh my God.
I kind of like vaguely remember this. This is a video from 7 years ago. So this is from 2018. to really like show you like the peak insanity when like peak wokeness was just ravaged. I guess that was even before peak wokeness was ravaging because it's like 2020. But there is this show on HBO called Random Acts of Flyness. And they
Mhm.
have in the first episode, and it was like these like really weird like sketch comedy sort of bits. In the first episode, they have a fake ad for a fake drug with John Hamm. Okay, so John Hamm debases himself, where the whole thing is that he's like trying to get rid of his whiteness and his white thoughts and how the white thoughts are evil and bad. And it's not
Oh my
portrayed like, oh,
God.
it's not portrayed like it's like the
Bring it
joke
up.
is
Bring
in the
it up.
joke, but hold on. And the joke is not like, oh, it's ridiculous that this is like a commercial. No, no. The joke is like, oh, this is real. It's just portrayed in a somewhat funny way, but it is real, and that white people really think these things. And this was on
Right.
HBO in 2018.
Okay. Yeah. Look,
It's
the
just
stereo
fucking crazy.
people are rejecting, and that people in the chat are rejecting that this stereotype is prevalent. And I just think you're
Which stereotype?
fucking this stereotype that every white person is a racist, that
Oh,
every
that's very
black person you interact with thinks that you're at least at the very least secretly racist.
yeah. I think it's more common nowadays. Yes.
Yes.
Lieutenant Sasquatch for $2 says, but did he murder her for bread? Yeah, exactly. Bruins for 38 months. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Says, good tweet. Ignore Destiny dick writers like AIDS.
Oh my God.
Ace for $5 says, the story is sad, but not newsworthy. The right is only propping this up to demonize the left and justify racist tropes. Well, there you go.
See, look at that. Look at that.
Short Set Goblin for $2 says, Ace, you dead ash should be on this show.
What, so
Wow.
so we can't talk about these soft on crime policies. I mean, California did the stupidest thing where they turned a bunch of like $1,000 shoplifting crimes into from felonies to misdemeanors, and shoplifting went through the roof. The business owners were getting fucking jacked every day, all day long, and it was ridiculous. So they reversed themselves. They said, "Look, this was a huge mistake. We need to make this a felony again and lock these people up." If you can't have a conversation about soft on crime policies because just having that conversation is racist,
Right.
how are you ever going to fix it? How
You
are you
can't.
going to be able to reverse the policy?
You cannot
If
fix
somebody
it.
came out and said, look, all of these shoplifters are black, and people will say we're racist if we reverse the policy, how the fuck are we supposed to reverse the policy?
Right.
It doesn't matter. This is why abandoning colorblindness is insane. Look, and they're trying to dig into this judge. I don't know if this judge believes that all of the black people in jail are in jail because of racism. But a lot of fucking people believe that. A lot of people believe that. And look, even if the person is a career criminal, they think, well, they're only a career criminal because people are racist against them, and that's the only way that they could survive.
Yep.
It's all about making fucking excuses for people who want to steal your shit, fucking rape your friends, and kill you, murder you.
Mm-hmm.
That's bullshit. That we should not be looking at the skin color of these people. We should be able to discern between good people and bad people, and not have this stereotype where we think because someone is black, they're automatically a good person, except there's racism that they're rebelling against. That's not going to work. That's fucked up. That's totally fucked up.
Yeah. And just to respond to the, well, here, hold on, let me read this first. Insensitive, well, let me read these two first. Insensitive for $5 says, getting shanked on the train is just part of living in a big city, guys. Ace probably. And Ace for $5 says, why are you guys proving the stereotype people have of this show? You guys being useful morons for MAGA. So I think maybe this will kind of illuminate the problem with the way that you're framing this, Ace. Okay. Here's the universe. Okay. The universe is trying to send you, Ace, and everyone a message very clearly, because while you have this story on the left is being not talked about, and Ace, your argument is you can't really focus on this or talk about this because it just helps Trump. It just helps MAGA. Okay. It's just the people who are, because your argument is those people, they don't really care about the victim. They're just doing it for their own purposes. Okay. Would you accept this argument if it was a Republican making that argument about the left? Would you accept this argument if it was, say, someone like, I don't know, the vice president of the United States, J.D. Vance, making that same argument? Because here's the universe providing for you this exact same situation, which I'd hope would sort of maybe make you think back about this and maybe change your mind. Because J.D. Vance, well, if you don't know, and we're going to talk about it after this, is the House Committee, Oversight Committee, was able to get that giant book, the giant Epstein book that had all the birthday letters in it, and they published it, including the letter that Trump wrote. That Trump was
J.D.
saying,
Vance didn't get it published. The House Oversight.
No, I said the
Committee
House
got it.
Oversight.
Okay. Yes, the Democrats in the House came
the
in
Democrat-
and got
yes.
the book published. Yes.
Or whoever.
J.D. Vance was not in favor.
No.
of that at
J.D. Vance
all.
was not in favor of this, right? And so they published the book, and it showed all the letters in it, including, we now have the visual. We can see the actual letter that supposedly, allegedly, Trump sent to Epstein that we read. That was very bizarre. That was written in, the naked lady. And a lot of people were giving J.D. Vance a lot of shit for this, because J.D. Vance had very publicly on X, when the story first came out a few months ago, was saying, oh, this story is BS. Where's the letter? They're not producing the letter because it's a fake story, blah, 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 blah. And now the letter is being produced. Everyone's like, ha, 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 you're fucking stupid. So J.D. Vance's response to this is to say the exact same argument, Ace, that you're saying about this story. He says, the Democrats don't care about Epstein. They don't even care about his victims. They were silent about it for years. The only thing they care about is concocting another fake scandal like Russiagate to smear President Trump with lies. No one is falling for this BS. Okay. Who gives a fuck? I don't care. Yes, there are a lot of people on the left that are going to be using the Epstein stuff, which they never really cared about, only because now it suits them politically. Okay. Just the same way that people on the right, oh, now they care about a Ukrainian victim or whatever. Okay. I understand that, but that doesn't fucking matter, because what matters is the real issue. What matters is, yes, Epstein does appear to be a serial pedo who is probably engaged in sex trafficking ring that the government at the highest levels appears to be fucking covering up. Okay, that matters. I don't care if only the reason that the Democrats care about it now is because it suits them politically. They didn't care about it before because they were afraid it would hit them. That we need to look into that. We need to get the fucking bottom of that. I don't care if the people that are doing it for political reasons. You can point that out, but that's still important to get to the bottom to. It's the same thing with this fucking story. I understand that people on the right are pushing this for their own political reasons and whatever. Okay. But it's still a real fucking issue that we need to stop and get to the bottom of. And we need to stop this people bouncing in and out of fucking prison, and that fucking people can't be committed even when their own mother is trying to commit them because they're a psychopath. We need to get to the bottom of these issues. You can point out and say, yes, people are motivated for bad reasons, and then say, but it's an important issue we need to talk about. Why is it so difficult to do both those things?
Yeah, the system fucked up here. To say it's not newsworthy is just retarded, because they had an order to commit this guy.
Yes.
Like, he shouldn't have been on the fucking streets. People knew that he was a danger to himself and the public. And for whatever reason, the authorities never stepped in and took care of it. And if they had, this woman would be alive. So it's just, it's a tragedy all around. And we have to figure out why the system failed us here. And we can't get sidetracked by race politics in doing that.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. Look, I want the racist stereotypes to go away altogether. So, and I hate the fact that CNN is only willing to protect one party from racist stereotypes and not thinking about everyone should be
not even one
protected
party.
from these.
They're willing to
racist
protect anyone who's
stereotypes.
not white.
Yeah. The one party is black people. The black.
Yes.
Well, I guess they worry about brown people too. So
they'll protect anyone that's not white. It's so gross. I am so disgusted at how fucking acceptable racism against white people has become in America in the last 10 years. It's really disgusting.
Yeah. Yes.
Damus for $5 says, Sitch, true. If they cover both sides equally, it'll cut off a lot of the extremes. Yeah. I literally don't fucking understand how in 2025 people haven't figured this out yet. It
Yeah, it's
seems to be the
basic.
most obvious fucking thing on the planet, and yet here we still are in the same problem.
Yeah, and you'd take away the the perception of bias.
Yes.
It would
Yes.
completely vanish. So
I
I
want. Okay, you go.
well, I want to say also, like a lot of people in MAGA are sharing this meme that trying to make the argument that the Democrats never really cared about Ukraine because this woman was Ukrainian, and I fucking hate that shit. I totally hate that shit
Mhm.
because it doesn't. It's like they're they're completely separate issues. They're trying to conflate the two issues, and they're just doing it to savage Democrats' reputation. They're trying to say, look, you guys don't actually care about Ukraine. You guys agree with us because we don't give a fuck about Ukraine. And
Right.
it's politicizing this tragedy in a way that completely disgusts me. So I'm
Yeah.
not fucking down with that either.
And I desperately want the mainstream media to be good. I want us in America to have a good, useful mainstream media apparatus that is actually good, objective, and people trust because we need to have a trustworthy source of information. I want the media to be good because God knows there's so much independent media now that is fucking trash, that is just garbage and rumor mongering and hyper partisan. So
Yeah.
I want the media to do better. And this ain't fucking it. And it's not going to ever be it until they fire the people that are making these decisions.
Yeah, the media is trying to serve two masters here. They're trying to serve the activist master and the news reporting master. And the problem is you can't serve two masters. And because in situations like this, those masters become in conflict, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one has to win. Do they want to preserve the narrative that there's racial animosity towards black people and they're just all innocent and downtrodden by the system, or do they want to actually tell the fucking truth?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're going to go with the narrative. So that's why the mainstream media is trash now.
Here's another good Jesse Single tweet thread. I'm gonna read to you. Okay, he's talking about Jordan Neely, even though this is from a couple days ago. So if you forgot, Jordan Neely.
Ace is still super chatting. I sent you the link, Ace. What's going on here? You're always begging to come on the show. Now you don't want to come on the show? You just want to super chat from the
I don't know, whatever.
safety?
He can do he can do whatever he wants, but I'm not gonna turn down free money. But so he's talking about Jordan Neely. You remember, this was the situation where the guy was being loud and crazy and threatening people on, the train, and then he gets subdued, and he dies while he's being
Yes, yeah.
subdued.
Jordan
Right.
Neely, or no. Who
Jordan
was the
Neely was
guy?
the guy doing, yeah,
Yeah. Who's the
yeah.
guy who subdued him? What was his name?
Daniel Penny.
Daniel Penny. There you
Yeah.
go. American
Right.
hero.
Yes. So Jesse Single says, after Jordan Neely randomly punched a 67-year-old woman in the face, which led to one of his 36 or so arrests, several for assault, he spent 15 months in jail max. Then the helpers arrived, leading to a carefully planned strategy between the city and his lawyers to allow him to get treatment, stay out of prison. So already we have an issue here that there are organizations and I guess left-wing cities that are just, their brain is fucking mush when it comes to crime. And they're actually actively trying to get, soft on crime, to get violent offenders out of prison.
Yeah, they
These
think they're
people
all there
should,
because of racism.
we should deport these people. We should take away their citizenship. I'm going to become the most right-wing extreme about these fucking crime issues. This is so disgusting to me. He continues. The traumatized, violent, deeply mentally ill guy got to do basically an honor code type of deal where he sort of pinky swore to stay in treatment. But 13 days later, he walked out because, of course, he did. Then outreach workers saw him on the subway. They approached him and he started pissing in front of them in public. They called the cops, who didn't bother to check if he had a warrant out, and they just shoot him off the train. And they didn't, arrest him or anything. 3 weeks later, he was killed. The reason I'm reminding people of this story is that I think it's a really, really, really bad idea to treat the quote, if someone commits multiple public assaults and is not in control of their own life or actions, it's okay to incarcerate them for a while as a MAGA position.
Yeah, that should be the common sense position.
There you go.
That should be everyone's position.
So like I don't understand, Ace, where you're not understanding about this. If you're gonna have the most common sense, obvious position be regulated to the side you hate, to the MAGA side, then that's just gonna make people think, oh well, the MAGA side is obviously the smart side, and the Democrats are fucking retards.
Yeah, and
Like,
as soon
I don't
as you
understand why you're
embrace
not
the position, you
understanding
take
this.
it away from them.
Yes,
You say, look, this is not contested. We all agree.
Donald Trump did this himself. Donald Trump did this himself very eloquently, not eloquently. Donald Trump doesn't do anything eloquently, very intelligently by taking away the whole like, oh look, Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan was a huge fuck up for the Republicans. He did that exact same move. So why can't you see this, Ace? Why can't you see this? A very obvious thing.
I'm just now here. I feel I wish I could fix my audio a little bit because I feel like here you guys are a little bit too loud on my end. But for some reason, like I'm just too awful with like Zoom, so I don't really know how to like fix the audio on it.
There's a. Do you see the little audio button?
It doesn't sound bad. You sound similar level to Sitch, so
That's fine, but I just feel like you guys are a little bit too loud for my liking.
Turn your own volume down. Can you
I
do
think
that?
Okay, now speak again and see if you guys are still loud.
Ace, why are you so wrong about everything?
Yeah, pull your head out of your ass.
I feel I'm pretty right about this. I feel like
Uh-huh.
on one level, this is a genuine tragedy. And I feel what happened to this woman is pretty appalling. I do understand that on one level, crime is going down. And I just don't think it's the FBI just making it up. But at the same time, in very particular places in America, crime is still higher than the national average. I remember studying this before when Gavin Newsom brought up the fact that when you look at certain places in red cities, they're not as safe as red states, they're not as safe as some blue states. But my problem with that is that you have to focus on the working class people that are leaving blue cities, who for them, they can't find a safe place to live in that is affordable for them. Unlike within red states where they can find a place that is more safer for them and at the same time more affordable. So I feel like when it comes down to matters like that, I think Democrats should talk about crime. But in case of this situation, the right is literally just feel like they're engaging like really weird racial stereotypes and using the dead body of this Ukrainian woman for like political brownie points. Like I now think the right will care about mass shootings as long as it's being done, take for example, by a black guy who kills like a bunch of preschoolers. Like this type of weird, cringy pearl clutching is like the worst to me.
Well, okay. You understand though. Well, there's two issues. You understand that if you give Trump and the right the issue where all they do is talk about crime, which is a problem, and the left pretends it doesn't exist, all you're doing is helping the MAGA side, right? You understand that concept.
I agree with that, but on this
okay, so you agree with that. So the Democrats and CNN and the left shouldn't be pretending like this isn't an issue.
Well, I think they should talk about it in broad generalities, but at the same time, when it comes down to this specific issue, they should remind people that the right is exploiting this for the most odious of reasons. I think they should acknowledge that there's a tragedy. I think they should acknowledge that maybe there are things that could have prevented this from happening, but at the same time, they should allow the right to fucking have any semblance of like moral grandstanding on this issue. And so many of these motherfuckers don't give two shits about crime, and they're just using this because they did like many times like painting all black people as fucking criminals. Like I said,
why do you think we're promoting it?
I think you guys are sincere actors who see this as a genuine issue and dislike the politicization of it. But at the same time, I think you guys are kind of being inadvertent ploys for like bad faith actors. Because I feel on one level, yeah, you should.
Look, you're making the same argument that Sitch said was a giant fucking problem.
Yeah, but my focus is different from you guys. My focus is on
but you're saying we can't talk about it because we're going to give bad faith actors a fucking win. That's exactly the argument that Sitch said is the problem.
I'm sorry, but you guys have to acknowledge that bad faith actors are going to use you guys if you don't acknowledge how much bad faith actors are riding off of this.
But didn't I say that? First of all,
that's exactly what you said.
Wait, hold on. That was the first sentence in my tweet, which you had a problem with, and that was like one of the first things I said on stream.
Yes.
Maybe I misunderstood your tweet because your tweet was kind of like fucking terribly written, Stitch. I can barely understand what you were saying. It felt like jibber jabber to me. I feel like in one.
Oh my-
I'm just being honest.
I
Maybe
think that's on you, Ace. I think that's
okay.
on you.
I'm totally willing to acknowledge that. But from what I'm seeing is it's just the right exploiting a fucking tragedy in the most gross way. And if I'm being like
no
really
one,
honest,
no one. Why do you think they're exploiting it? You think they're exploiting it to create a stereotype that all black people are murderous thugs?
that's one part of it. The other part is the fact they love somehow like blame the Democrats for crime and stuff. So now they get to do like two of their favorite things at the same time.
Well,
Yeah, so
Democrats
the-
are factually soft on crime. You agree with that?
Probably more
Heavy
so than
sigh. Yes. The answer is yes.
yeah, but I'm not gonna somehow give the right any semblance of like the more higher ground on this. These are disgusting grifters that are literally exploiting women's tragedy for the most obvious of reasons that needs to be pointed out with with the highest of urgency because we should not forget that
You're as bad as CNN then. You're totally as bad as CNN.
Okay then. I'm cool with
Look,
that.
you're only interested in this story in the narrative that the right is using it to race bait. That's fucking CNN's narrative. That the right, nobody on the right actually cares about it because
no, I don't think
I don't know.
Those who prop this up either don't care about it or are useful morons in their own fucking right.
Ace, look, let me ask you: is treating people equally important?
Yes.
In society, we should treat black people, white people, brown people. We should all treat them equally, right?
Yes, we should.
Okay, good. So,
Okay, but
if the races were reversed here, would there be a hate crime investigation?
If people did try to do that, I think that'd be really dumb. I agree.
Unfucking doubtably, there would be a giant hate crime investigation.
Out. I'm like, chill out, dog. I'm not one of those people that thinks that somehow if a white person kills a black person, it has to be about.
So then, just answer the question. If the races were reversed, would there be a hate crime investigation?
Maybe. I think
maybe
that's a possibility.
Maybe?
I don't really know.
Oh
I could
my God.
imagine
we live in completely different Americas. Then.
I'm not saying that
is there going to be a hate crime investigation in this case?
Probably not.
Absolutely not. Now, is it important to treat people equally?
Yes.
It is important to treat people equally, isn't it?
Yes,
but we're not. We're not. That's what the problem is. Okay, we're not bringing this up. We are not bringing this up to create negative stereotypes about black people. I fucking hate that. I hate the fact that that's a thing that's going on. But we have to talk about this because this is the core of what America is based on. Treating people fucking equally. The entire civil rights movement is about treating people fucking equally. Okay? Are we treating people equally? Hell no, we're not. Not in a fucking million years.
Calm down.
Look, I'm just it's completely ridiculous that this is invisible to people. So look, how are we supposed to talk about this if we can't talk about it because some race grifters are going to score points?
I feel like we can talk about it. We just need to remember the context under which we're talking about it. And if I'm like being truly dead ass serious, this is a tragic non-issue to me. Like what happened to this woman was awful, but in like the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, do you think that there is a problem in America in a lot of cities where violent criminals are able to just bounce in and out of prison instead of being kept in prison because of soft on crime policies? Do you think that
seems okay? Let me just take that as a truism.
So you think that is true?
I think for the most part that's pretty true. Maybe I have to like look it up for myself. So even I remember when I'm studying like crime, there's like some truth to too many people in left-wing cities being way too soft on crime.
Okay. So if that's an issue, that's a real issue. Okay. And this is where I agree with what you're saying in theory, but I don't agree with what you're saying in terms of how in principle, or not in principle, but in terms of how you think it's being manifested. Because if CNN or the New York Times or Axios or any of these other outlets report on the story and they said, this is a situation that happened, it's a really fucked up tragedy, And, you know, there is an issue and there is a big question. Why was this guy able to bounce in and out of prison? We need to fix this. Why was this guy not be able to be committed? We need to fix this. But also, you know, yes, there were some people that were blowing up this story because they're racist, right? Which would satisfy what you're laying out, what you're talking about. But they didn't do that. None of them did that. They don't want to talk about the crime issue. They don't want to talk about the fact that there is an issue with these soft on crime policies.
Yeah, because they're their
You
policies.
see that happening in this coverage that you're talking about?
I think I agree with you about that, but my main focus is the fact that the well has been so poisoned on this issue, and the right for the past, you don't know how many fucking times on Twitter I see this weird fetishization of the right finding black people beating the fuck out of like white people, like a weird fetish for them. It's like this type of
I know, and I said that.
I fucking hate
like,
it too. I fucking hate it too.
Like this issue was fundamentally propped up by that, and the well is so poisoned on this issue that it's nothing but poison. If you want to blame people for like politicizing this event, blame the fucker who only give a shit about this issue because it's a dead white person killed by a fucking black person. They don't give a shit about Ukrainians. I don't really think they give a shit about crime. I'm not gonna allow these disingenuous, phony fucks to fucking morally grandstand to me. They can suck my cock from the fucking back. They want to do that shit.
But this is the problem is that you're looking at this, and this is I think the exact same problem that Destiny has. Is it's like instead of looking and say, okay, this is an issue in our society that you agree needs to be fixed, needs to be addressed, and the way that is being reported on by all media outlets is wrong. Instead of saying, okay, we need to sort of fix this and have the media report on it correctly, you're more guided by your hatred of these people on the right. And that's the primary animus to your belief system.
I'm not being I'm not being driven by hatred. I'm avoiding turning into a fucking cuckold that will allow a bunch of disingenuous ghoul fucks to pretend they somehow give a shit about this. They don't give a shit about the Ukrainians dying in the fucking Russian invasion. They sure as shit don't give a shit about the fucking law or anything like that. I'm willing to see some points for these people, but my main focus will be the fact that these people are ghoulish scumfucks turning a tragedy into like an instance for them to get political brownie.
Yeah, but I'm
willing to acknowledge on shit like grooming gangs being a particularly bad issue and being particularly unique in the grand scheme of things for like sexual abuse scandals in the UK, if not in the world. But this tragedy, in the grand scheme of things, isn't really that unique, isn't really that newsworthy. It's sad, but at the end of the day, dog, there's a bunch of fucking sadder stories than this. And people to engage in this type of cuck emotional blackmail that like fucking hyper feminized lefty cuckoids fucking use is like the most like bullshit thing I've ever had the misfortune.
I think you're listening to Destiny way too much.
I'm not listening to fucking Destiny on this. I'm not.
Everything you're saying sounds like your mouth is moving, but Destiny's words are coming out.
No.
Yeah, he's working your mouth like a puppet.
Do not say the tiniest. I have his hands up my ass and trying to like fucking make me sound like a puppet. Probably something you'd be in. But I'm sorry, dog. There's a time and place to make concessions with the right that I think Democrats need.
This isn't, but you again.
I'm sorry, but they poisoned the well so fucking hard.
Framing this as a concession to the right is just
yes, it is.
You're mentally
because
trapped
they poisoned the well so fucking hard on this issue. That
then
has
you
to
need
be a concession.
The only way to fight that is to have the left steal the issue away from them. That's the only way. You can't just ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist.
I'm not saying they should ignore it.
More life into the story.
I don't think they should ignore it, but they should be fucking acknowledging that motherfuckers who are propping this up are literally a bunch of like cucked out would-be Klansmen types that literally only give a shit about dead people as long as they're white and they're killed by a fucking black person. Like seriously, a school shooting can fucking happen.
Then how is it then when in my post when I said the first sentence, there are people who want to promote any sort of crime with a black perpetrator because they want to push negative stereotypes, which is saying the exact fucking thing you're saying. And I said this multiple times in this stream that you were listening to. You kept saying, oh, like you're acting like all me and Adam are doing is sitting here and just saying, oh, you know, the left is evil, the right is innocent baby angels, and everything they're doing is good, and all the people that are promoting the story are just doing it. Even though I explicitly said the opposite of that. That's why it makes it feel like we can't actually talk about the story because we're doing the thing that you're saying, and you're saying it wasn't good enough.
I'm just saying that the right has poisoned the well in this issue so fucking hard that to not talk about under which the context which was propped up for the most part, is missing the
I understand that.
forest
You're
for
just
the
repeating yourself. I'm saying
the
that we
difference is
talked
the
about that.
focus on this. I
We
think
okay, whatever. I just I don't understand. We brought this up. Now I don't want to focus on that as the primary part of the story because to me that's not even like it's something you should bring up to the context, but that's not the most important part of the story. The most important part of the story is someone fucking died, and we have these soft on crime policies.
I know, far as I'm like concerned, I feel the most important issue is how the right are being just ditching and fucks on this. I understand all of that is
Okay, well,
important,
I guess
and
that's the
under
difference.
maybe different circumstances we can talk about it. But this issue is so poison for me that I just can't take these fucking people seriously. The
But see, this
idea,
is the that mentality is the problem. That's why so many people on the right have the exact same mentality you do about Ukraine. They're like, oh, I can't stand it because the left is, so evil and so bad, and they're so pro Ukraine, so fuck Ukraine. Like they have the exact same thought process as you do on this.
my problem with that analogy, if the left really did prop up Ukraine for ulterior motives, take for example, like they do with like the whole tragedy in Gaza, I would actually understand the right calling out the left for it. Because the way in which the left has like propped up Gaza has been so utterly fucking gross.
You
Gaza is a
don't think
tragedy.
that the reason the left was so pro Ukraine, so anti Russia, was because of all the Trump Russia stuff?
No, I really don't think
Okay,
so.
I don't agree with that at all. Then
I think it's like the right was to point out how the left is like exploiting the fuck out of Gaza and it's like incredibly fucking disgusting. And they're like mocking the left for it. I would probably be on their fucking side because the left only gives a shit about dead brown people when they're killed by white people. Like the right and left both have this type of fucking derangement where they racialize the fuck out of everything.
I
And
agree, but you can't let that consume your thought about an issue.
but the thing is that I just don't think this tragedy is bad enough where I should like divert my attention to it. I'm sorry, dude. Like all this stuff is
Okay, well,
bad.
you're just gonna make it worse with your strategy. So
I don't think this should always be done, but it should obviously be done when people are being fucking bad faith actors. If this wasn't being propped up in a bad faith way where by a bunch of racist crackpots pointing like a fucking flashlight on this issue, I probably wouldn't be saying anything like this and probably think, yeah, we should talk about these types of issues. I can
the
point at times
Mhm.
on Twitter where some crazy fucking homeless dude on a bus fucking assaulted people. That shit is fucking nuts. And there's way too much left wing cuckery on crime.
The
But on
only
this
reason
matter,
it was being propped up by those people is because the mainstream was ignoring the story.
oh no, that's bullshit. They've been fucking propped up because a black guy killed a white woman. That's the only reason they
No,
give
no,
it.
no. If the
Oh wait,
mainstream media was talking about this story from the beginning, yeah, there'd be people like, oh my God, I have fatigue. I can't live around black people, blah, blah, like all that. But that wouldn't gain prominence because the media would have been talking about the story. You wouldn't have this whole other narrative of, look, the media wants to hide the truth from you.
I
If you
don't.
want the truth, you have to listen to us, the white nationalists.
Maybe I'm a little bit confused about what you're saying because I feel like what you're saying is that this story wouldn't have gotten the oxygen if mainstream media has actually talked about it.
No,
Like
I'm
what?
saying the story wouldn't have got oxygen when you have only the quote racist people you're talking about talk about it, a story, and the mainstream media ignores it, then people who aren't racist or maybe on the borderline of being racist are going to say, "Oh, well, I have to listen to the white nationalists because they're the only ones talking about this story." This is further proof that the mainstream media hates white people and is racist and is lying and hiding information from us. Where if the mainstream media talked about the story from the beginning, that narrative wouldn't function.
Well, I just feel like the mainstream media can't focus on every single fucking tragedy. The same way as a problem where the mainstream media racialized events where a white person killed a black person, it'd be just as bad. They started doing the reverse. I feel we're just kind of like perpetuating the issue we're dealing with by asking media to now focus on like
There's
these non-tragedies and
there's no
non-issue
way.
tragedies.
Well, there's two issues here. First of all, you have a the media likes to focus on unique stories. Okay, it's like no one, they don't really focus when the dog bites a man, but they'll focus when the man bites a dog story. And so you do have a unique tragedy here, something as I said, straight out of like a fucking tragedy novel, where a person
Irony.
escapes a war situation to be killed by a random crazy person on the bus. And then it turns out that this probably could have been prevented because this person was going in and out of prison. So I say number one, that on itself makes a newsworthy story. But then number
I don't
two,
agree with
the
that.
way that I think you're just 100% don't understand
I
like,
feel like if we were
structures
talking
and
about like
storytelling.
grooming
If
gangs
that's the
and
case,
stuff like that, that grooming gang scandal in the UK, that was a fucking newsworthy story.
of course.
This this is nothing on comparison. This
Well,
is a
it's not a large, it's a smaller
it's
scale, obviously, than the
this is
grooming
just
gang story.
I'm like, if I'm gonna be kind of blunt, this is kind of like a basic bitch level tragedy. Like, yeah, this is bad, but dog, there's
No, because
way worse shit in the fucking
here's
world,
the
and way
second
worse shit in
part
this
here
fucking country
that
than this issue.
maybe you don't realize. It's just that the way media finds stories nowadays, that they have people that troll Facebook, that troll X, that troll Instagram, that troll all the social media platforms constantly looking for whatever the viral story is, the viral story of the day, because they want clicks, they want views, and they're going to write an article about the viral story. It is literally impossible that the big mainstream media outlets did not know about this story as it was blowing up on X and other social media platforms. That is fucking impossible. This is what they do as their job. So that means that someone made a decision, an editorial decision, to not talk about the story.
Okay,
And that's where I think that you're not focusing on this, because from their own monetary perspective, they should have reported on the story.
I feel like now, like if that is, I feel like that is like an issue in and of itself with the news industry and something that we should want to be propagated. But even if I was to like to give you that, I can't blame people for being super cynical about this when there's been so much racist bullshit on Twitter for the longest fucking time now, and just see so many this weird fetishization of black criminality or whatever the fuck. Like, this shit makes people understandably cynical. I can't blame some people for being cynical about this tragedy. And like, maybe the media probably should have given it more focus, but at the day, I just think the media shouldn't focus on every single little tragedy possible.
Okay, well, we're just not going to agree at this point. So
Yeah, I want to say, well, look, you can stick around if you want to talk more, but you are implying that we are racist for talking about this. I mean, it's implicit in the argument that you're making. Oh, I know you're saying, look, you guys are sincere, but everyone talking about this is a racist and is doing it to create racist stereotypes against black people.
Should have said
people will inadvertently catch us up in that. So,
you know what? I'm sorry about that. It felt like I was actually making guys look like a bunch of racists. I'm actually sorry about that. I think you guys are like the two least racist.
You're catching everybody.
I'm sorry, but the fuckers who propped this shit up were like the fucking 1-2 steps away from being a bunch of fucking neo-Nazis. You should be blaming those fuckers for making you look bad in the fucking first place. Those people are to blame, not for me. Like, having some level of common sense.
I don't know how much more we can blame them. Okay, we're not. I don't like that.
Blame them to the nth degree and focus more so on them than on me, who is rightfully cynical about this. I don't blame.
Well, I mean, they are dictating your behavior because you can't even talk about this because you don't want to give them a win. So ultimately, they are controlling you.
I guess they got something on me, but at the same time, I just feel like if I play into this by saying that this was, oh no, look at this awful tragedy, and not acknowledge what these people are doing, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, black people are all like violent genetic criminals that want to murder old white people. We need to bring back segregation, or segregation didn't go hard enough. I've seen some people say some of this crazy shit on Twitter. I feel like that's me becoming a useful idiot for them. If I acknowledge that, hey, this is a tragedy, there was probably factors in which this couldn't have been changed. The Democrats have been kind of cucked on crime, but at the same time, I will not pretend that somehow this thing was just talked about just out of the blue or just because it was tragic. I'm going to acknowledge that disingenuous, bad actors who have the most sinister of motives have propped this up. Like I'm saying before, I just don't think this tragedy is bad enough where we can ignore the bad actors propping it up. That's why I bring up the grooming scandal.
I disagree that it's solely bad actors that are propping this up. I do.
Dude,
I think it's complete injustice.
Let me take that back. 90% of the people propping this are bad actors. The other 5% are kind of being useful idiots.
That is the CNN. Look, I feel like I'm listening to CNN at this point. That is completely the CNN narrative. The CNN narrative is that anybody talking about this is just using it to create negative stereotypes about black people. And
I should have clarified almost everyone, not actually everyone.
Oh, okay. Almost everyone.
Yeah, almost. Like, I'm going to be honest with you guys, 90% of the people who care about the story are racist crackpots. 5% of them are useful idiots for racist crackpots.
Do you think Charlie Kirk is a racist crackpot? You think
I think he's a useful idiot for once. Yeah, I have no problem.
So anyone talking about this is a useful idiot for racists.
Not everyone. Not everyone. The
Everyone but
other
us, right?
5%, like that's why I said 90% of the people talking about this
If you
mostly
look,
are
if you
racist
can't
crap.
even
Let me
solve your
finish. Let me
problems
finish. Let
because
me
you
finish.
can't talk about shit, then you're in a big world of hurt.
We can talk about these issues in like generalities, but in this circumstance, I'm not gonna somehow pretend that somehow bad actors are not engaging in the like most sinister and most cynical opportunism I've ever fucking seen. Like that part is actually some of the most revolting shit ever. That
Look,
is the
we all
part.
agree on that. You don't have to
Well, I'm
say it
saying,
a
I'm sorry,
hundredth time,
but
okay?
that's the thing
Jeez.
that I want to focus most on. Okay, that's the
Yes.
difference.
Yes,
My
you and
difference is,
CNN both. You and
yeah,
CNN and MSNBC and all the race grifters. That's all they want to focus on.
I'm a race grifter now. You're gonna treat me like fucking FD.
You're
Holy shit!
giving
I know I'm.
look. You are giving the race grifters a win in the same way that you're saying we're giving the racists a win. You are definitely you're fucking. They're working your mouth like a puppet.
I'm
All
sorry,
those
but
race
sadly,
grifters are.
sadly, the fucking cucked race grifters are probably a little bit right about this. That actual racist crackpots are exploiting a fucking awful tragedy for the most gross fucking reasons.
The
And
race
the
grifters are
idea
just
to
as racist
the,
as the racists.
like in this, well, sadly, in this circumstance, the race grifters are less awful, at least in this specific circumstance. Same way I can acknowledge that grooming gangs in the UK are being propped up by total racists. Sadly, those racist fucks are actually are actually morally right about this. And people, and the very fact that it's so bad that these people are actually right about something, that should actually make us uphold.
Read dialogue always super chat Sitch. I said he could come on if you wanted to come on and give his take. I'm sure it's rich.
Here's wonderful.
I know.
Let me find it.
Don't associate me with dialogue always. That dude has like
what do you mean? We're gonna do a 2v2 debate right here, and he's on your team.
I'm fucking center left leaning. I don't like all those weird fucking cucked out commie.
No, you're officially taking the CRT position. Dialogue always is coming on. He's your debate partner.
No, that shit ain't happening. I mean, now I'm gonna switch my position just because of that. Fuck
there you go.
Oh yes, we found your Achilles heel.
I was going about this all wrong. Okay, the real way is just to be like, gotta get some socialist or Hassan supporter or CRT supporter to come on and take your position, and that's how I get you to change.
We need to like have a database specifically just for black criminals, just specifically. Like the idea of having to side all these left-wing cucks. Holy shit, dude! If Trump wasn't so awful, I would have fucking voted for him just out of spite. I hate all those fucking leftoids to the nth degree. Jesus Christ.
Dialogue always has 2 super chats, one for $5. Thank you. Says, why is the only answer for mental health is jail? Well, first of all, that's not the only answer.
That's a cucked answer. Okay.
Yeah.
Like reason why we want to have to put this dude in jail because he's a fucking violent offender that we a threat to like non-violent fucking psych ward patients. Like this is actually the left-wing cuckery that you guys need to focus on. Like this is the type of shit where you guys the left is too fucking soft on crime.
There you go, Dialogue always. Ace called you a cuck. Aren't you glad you're defending him in the chat?
Oh my god.
And Dialogue always for another $10 says conversations about CRT, quote, ignore all of the main arguments and focus primarily on the rhetoric. 13 out of 50 rhetoric, ignore all the rhetoric and only focus on the main arguments, so dishonest.
That is fucking bullshit. Oh god, that's so dishonest.
Dialogue always as an example difference between the center left that is me and like the left, more far left leaning types. I'm willing to acknowledge like bad, pernicious, racist stereotypes from the right propagates at times, but I'm not going to engage in like the super weird cuckery about like race and all that stuff. Like Dialogue always is one of those white people they can probably like get him getting like $10.
Dialogue always is black.
Oh, he's black too? Oh, okay. Yeah. So he probably comes off, but he has politics like a fucking white girl in like her fucking
Dialogue always has been on the show before, so he's been on a couple of times. But so, look, we how often on the show, Sitch, do we talk about the 1350 situation?
13 like
never,
13,
never, fucking never.
Okay,
never.
Adam, I'm okay, Adam. I feel like on one level, okay, I'm actually sorry. If you guys actually thought I was painting you guys as racist instead of just useful idiots, my bad. Maybe I need to be less of a cheeky dick about things and
Well,
not
look,
say
I
things.
don't take it back that you're carrying water for the race grifter. So
I'm
you're
not okay.
100% carrying water
Hey,
for the
we
race
both have
grifters.
criticisms of each other on this issue, but we still
Mhm.
both respect each other at the end of the day.
That's
I'm not gonna be
true.
like your average leftoid who gets like super fucking ass mad about shit when we disagree about things. I like you guys because I get to be a dick, and you
Well,
guys
look,
are fucking chill with it
You
afterwards.
listen to Destiny a little bit too much, though. So
No, I'm not. I'm not.
I'm
This
putting
is
you on
not
Destiny
and
restriction
this is
as
not
of this
because I'm fucking listening to
as of
Destiny.
this minute.
Because I
Oh,
just don't
no.
like to be cucked by fucking bad actors. Okay, I
Interesting.
feel like
You,
Democrats have
look, you
engaged
are
in too
being
much.
cut. What are you talking about? You are
Democrat-
being cucked by bad actors. You literally cannot talk about this because the bad actors have your fucking balls. How
Being
can you
cucked-
say you're not cucked by
That's fucking
this?
bullshit. I'm not being.
You
cucked
just
by
said, your whole
No,
argument
no.
was we can't have a conversation about this because we're emboldening the racists. That's what your
That's-
argument has been as
seems-
long as
that
you've been
seems-
on. How are you not in the cuck chair?
That seems not cucked to me because I'm acknowledging the bad actors want
my
to
God,
exploit
Sitch,
me for their
am
own
I
like
crazy,
racist fucking
Sitch?
propaganda.
Am I
don't
crazy,
think that's
Sitch?
cucked. I think that's anti-cuckery.
He's making the argument that
understand.
CNN should sit in the fucking cuck chair because they shouldn't talk about this because it
Okay.
gives a win to the racists.
Okay, now we just have different standards of what cuckery is at this point. That's the problem.
If you
Like,
if
you
you
think
have to
watching
if you have to
porn-
restrict your
You think-
behavior because of the actions of another person, how are you not the cuck?
One, I'm not being manipulated by the actor that wants me to do certain things. I'm like disobeying them by not falling for their bullshit, allowing them to dictate what I actually have to say. If I was focused on this issue to like the nth degree, that would feel to me that I'm allowing the right to actually cut me.
Look,
but by
I-
acknowledging that acknowledging a lot of the people that bring this issue up are like weird racist fucks. I feel like I'm not being cut.
Here's
oh my God.
Have you ever watched Community, Ace?
No, I fucking hate that show. What the fuck?
What?
No,
Oh my
I tried that show a couple of times. I just can't fucking get into it.
Well, here's the problem. In the first episode of Community, okay, Troy, who was the high school quarterback,
Do you
they're in
remember
community
that John
college.
Oliver was actually in Community?
I know. Back when he was funny. Okay.
Yeah. Back when he was cool.
Troy-
and then he fell off.
He's in community
Yeah, that's
college
right.
and he was like the high school quarterback and he's still wearing his high school Letterman jacket and he talks to Jeff, one of the main characters, and he's like, people have been clowning on me to take off the jacket or I'm wearing my old high school jacket, but like if I get rid of it now, aren't I just cucking to them because I'm doing what they want? And Jeff says, if you get rid of the jacket or keep it, it doesn't matter because now you're just going to keep it to rebel against them. Either way, you're letting them control your behavior. And I feel like that's kind of what Adam was talking about
I feel
in terms
that
of
would
your
be
position.
okay. I feel that would be true if like the jacket was like a super inconvenience for him. If the jacket like isn't like, who cares about who cares he chooses to wear it out like rebellion and shit. My main issue is that if this particular tragedy was a bigger issue, I would actually be more focused on it than on like bad actors because the depths of like the problem of this tragedy is so bad that it needs as much attention as possible. I just don't think this tragedy with this woman falls underneath that category.
Well, I think we've all reached the point, so we're just going in circles. But thank you for coming on, Ace, and thank you for your explanations.
But on a serious note, I love you guys to the nth
Thank
degree.
you. We love you
And,
too.
and don't ever
thanks for
forget,
coming
if I
on.
ever criticize you guys, I will always say to your face, first and foremost.
Yeah, no,
And-
thanks for coming on.
But on a serious note, it was nice talking to you guys.
Yes, and thanks for coming on because a lot of people will
A lot of people
they'll throw out incendiary comments and then they'll
and
shy
be like
away
a
from
pussy
coming
bitch
on.
and not willing to stand
Exactly.
Well, look,
Exactly.
I wouldn't mind if you weren't always asking to come on anyway. So
up for it. Okay, now I feel bad about that. I just like
no, don't. I mean,
feel
don't.
like, and I feel like you guys could like use a third co-host just
No.
because.
Wow.
Now, look at this.
Think of
Now,
it like a sitcom.
now already he's
Think
trying
of-
to get his name on the channel. Look at
Now
that.
think of it like a sitcom where it's like been a couple of seasons long and you need to find some way to mix it up.
Well, look,
could be that
it's
third
better
wheel.
for you to come on if we have disagreement. It really is because it's
Okay.
more interesting.
If
So,
we were gonna have a third co-host, we need like an Adam Friedland type. We need some like sniveling socialist.
if you
that
want to
everyone
come
hates.
on and
Holy
shit the
shit.
chair, we'll have you.
Yeah,
we'll
Dude,
definitely
like,
have you.
Oh man, dude. Now
But
I
keep
feel
in
like-
mind, you're going to be the punching bag.
I don't want that to happen. Adam Friedland is just like the constant reminder that lefties have basically become like pussies in human form. Like,
Mhm.
holy shit, that dude needs to be. I would say that dude needs to be kicked in the dick, but he doesn't have a dick to be kicked in the
There
first
you
place.
go.
Right.
Anyway,
Hey,
thanks for coming on.
sayonara, you guys. Also, I
Later.
Take
love
care.
you too, chat.
There you
But
look
I'm
at
gonna.
that. Look at that. Oh, and just to respond to Dialogue Always' comment, because we didn't really talk about it at all. I don't even know. This is the conversation that I feel like would happen with Dialogue Always, or with really anyone when we talk about CRT, is that, we go, hey, look at this like crazy thing that CRT says. And then you come on and say, no, 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 no. You guys are reading this wrong.
Yeah,
You're just
exactly.
simply reading the words in a very clear way. Okay. It actually means the complete opposite of what the words mean. And then I go, I don't believe you. And then you go, oh, you're just focusing on rhetoric and not the arguments. That's how I feel like those conversations go every time, Dialogue Always.
Well, he can still come on. I'll send him the link if he wants to come on.
They want to come on, but
The biggest part of this story is not the tragedy, it's the double standard. And it's going to continue to be a story until the double standard is resolved. Because obviously, we all know, and Ace is out to lunch if he doesn't know this instinctively. If the races were reversed, there'd be a giant hate crime uh, investigation. This would be wall to wall coverage. It would be on all the networks. We all fucking know it to be true. Okay. Since it's the races that they are, they're going to bury it. There's going to be no hate crime investigation. I would like to know if he was racist as fuck. I would like to know if the media is turning crazy people into racists, killing monsters. I want to know that. I think there should be an investigation. So it's the double standard that makes it a story, not the fact that it's this random act of violence. That of course is horrible. But
yeah,
if the media just came out and covered it and said this is a terrible tragedy, we feel bad for the woman's family. She was escaping war-torn Ukraine and this horrible thing happened and we need to clean up crime. This wouldn't be a fucking story.
right.
Yeah.
True. Ryan Uhl, thank you so much for the $20. Says, as promised, a good show today. Thank you. Ryan Uhl said he'd give us $20 if Ace came on. So thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Just a reminder, as we found out, if it's at all possible, okay, if you're sending us super chats, which we strongly appreciate, if you can, it's much better to send it on your computer or through a browser. Because if you send it through an app, we've discovered, whether it's through an Apple app or even an Android app, if it's through Apple, the Apple store will like cut off, I think, a third of your super chat and suck it up for themselves before it even gets to us. And then YouTube takes their third. So we get like, even like we get like half of whatever you donate to us if it's through Apple. And then apparently it was even fucking crazier, which to me should be illegal and grounds for a class action lawsuit. Google, which owns YouTube, apparently does the same fucking thing with their app. So if it's at all possible,
wouldn't you know it?
Right. So if it's all possible, donate directly through a browser or give to a Streamlabs. The link is in the description. So
right. And of course,
fucking crazy.
Buy Google stock because obviously they're making a fucking killing.
Right. Right. I really do think that'd be grounds for a class action lawsuit. It does seem fucking crazy that they do that. Ryan sent us a $50 super chat and it's like disappeared. Oh, here it is. I don't know why he does that sometimes. Brian, for $50, thanks so much. Says the right has been hammering on crime since defund the police. DA is not prosecuting and bail being removed. Now Ace is pretending that the right only cares about it because it was a black guy. Ace is just being partisan and reactionary. I think, like, as I said, I do think, yes, there are people that are pushing it for race reasons, but I think it is completely wrong for you, Ace, to say that the right doesn't care about crime. The right has always cared about crime. The right has always been the LOL, not LOL, but the, oh my God, the left is soft on crime party. That's always been the right's position. The right, I think, intrinsically in right-wing philosophy, always has a built-in fear of disorder and barbarism, and that's going to turn into a fear of crime. So I don't agree with that element either. Yeah. You
hear so many people talking about this story on the right calling it barbaric too. I always think, yep, totally. Barbarism.
You're right, and that's showing the good emotional cue right there. So
yeah, exactly.
And it is barbaric. It's totally fucking crazy. You have a lady on her phone, literally on her phone, gets stabbed from behind by a crazy person for no reason.
So sad. So sad.
Joe the Mig for 41 months, thanks so much, says, quote, conservatives pounce. Eventually, conservatives will actually pounce, and Muppets like this will act shocked at the boy who cry wolf. Wow. That doesn't sound good, Joe. Insensitive for $5 says, I'm admittedly fatigued. We is tired, y'all. The whole fatigue thing is playing, I think, directly into the white nationalist talking points. So I think that's a very dumb path to go down with
What?
that
How
framing.
is it? How is it so people can avoid it?
So the context is that all the racist accounts on X,
they black
they go
fatigue.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, they'll post like a picture or a video of a black person committing a crime, and they're like, oh, I'm fatigued of black people. Like, I'm tired. They're saying they're tired of black people, essentially, is what they're saying. So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like any of that shit. So,
yeah. Cameraman 502 for 30 months says, I agree with you about the mainstream media framing the story, but I have to ask why the story need to be a nationwide story as opposed to others. Well, as I said, I don't know, maybe you said that before we were talking about it, but I said, I think this is a story that would capture the mainstream news just because of the element of the story. It's a bizarre, ironic tragedy that's caught on camera and has a very haunting visual image associated with it. There's a reason that that picture went viral of like the guy right before he stabs her. And as I said, maybe you guys don't know this, there are all the mainstream media news, they troll social media all day looking for stories. And if they see a story becoming viral, they comment on it. This is why you'll even see so many of the mainstream media stories will be like, X user, Instagram user, TikTok user, Blue Sky user said this in response to the stories, because that's how they find the stories in the first place. So
yeah, they want to spin it though, especially CNN, who knows all of their watchers and viewers are fucking left-wing racists. They're like,
Right.
can we code this story so they'll click on it? I know.
Right.
We'll say it's all about a bunch of Republican racists being fascinated with this story.
Yeah. Right. And it's same thing. Yeah. That's what I said in the chat. Same thing with like George Floyd. Part of why the George Floyd story blew up was because there was like a visual image associated with the story. Like if that story, like if there wasn't a video, like I don't think that story would have done anything, even if people were like describing what happened. So,
But irony is attention grabbing. Irony is like catnip for the mind. So
right.
obviously a lot of stories, and this is even good for storytelling, because if you want to write a story, including irony in the basic structure of your story is a really good idea. Obviously, we always see these stories about parents who cook their kids in the car. Well, there's irony there. Obviously, the parent is supposed to fucking be the caretaker of the child, right? So it's super
Right.
ironic. Like when a tiger kills the lion tamer, it's like, oh,
Right.
he's supposed to be an expert on these beasts,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
So she's escaping a war-torn country. She's escaping total danger and ends up getting killed in a perceived safe place. There's the irony there. So
right.
all
And
of these
also, as I said,
stories.
from a newsworthy perspective, this is important because this is a real issue. This is a real issue that we have too many soft on crime policies in too many cities.
Yeah, of course. Even police brutality, there's a hint of irony there, isn't it? Since police are supposed to be the public protectors, right?
Right. Off topic, but did you hear Greta's ship exploding as apparently some idiot playing with a flare gun and setting the boat on fire? Yeah, we can, you know what?
Oh
Maybe
my
we can bring the
God.
video up because, so if you guys don't know, Greta was on one of her like boats
Thunberg.
she did another, Greta Thunberg was doing another one of their like, we're going to have our ship go deliver aid to Palestinian publicity events situations. And, the first time they got stopped by the Israeli government. And then this time, there was some picture or video of their boat on fire, and they were claiming they got drone striked or something by Israel. And then someone posted a video I saw today where they were saying that you can see from the video that one of them shot a flare up and then the flare landed back on the boat and they caught their own boat on fire. Now, I watched the video and it's weird. At least I don't see it. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't see on the video a person shooting a flare. So I don't know if there's another video people were talking about.
I read it
couldn't
was
see
a
that.
firecracker, that they were
Right.
playing with firecrackers.
Okay, or something like that. In the video that
But
I saw,
I don't
you
know
don't
if that's the
see
case.
you don't see the person setting it off. But what you do see is you do see the fire thing like kind of land on the ship, and it doesn't look like a drone strike or anything. It does look like some kind of firework or flare or something landing on a ship. So,
Was it self-sabotage though?
well, I don't know. At least from the video I saw, you couldn't see that. So unless it was
Right.
from there was more than one boat, so unless it was a different boat or something. But because like if you see, when a drone hits a ship, you either see it's either a kamikaze drone, so you see the drone like fly into the ship and explode, or you see it shoot like a fucking missile or something. And this, it very clearly looks like, that like fiery shit that like lands from fireworks or something landing on the boat. So
I have Greta Thunberg fatigue.
yeah, we all do.
I do not. I fucking do not want to hear about Greta Thunberg anymore.
Right. Thank you guys for $10. I'm not gonna relitigate all the things that we talked about in your super chat. So, but thank you for $10. Corn Pop for $10 says, has this or Raja Jackson gotten any ire from the mainstream media in the same way that Rolf Yari, Rittenhouse, Covington Catholic, Central Park Karen, City Bike Karen, or initial coverage of Jesse Smollett? No. And that's another thing too.
Oh my
It's like, I mean, like,
God.
look at the City Bike Karen thing. Like how that story went so fucking viral. Again, for like, first of all, even like, obviously we talk about this story a lot. That woman was 100% innocent, okay, of any wrongdoing. But even if hypothetically it was true that she was like a racist or tried to steal the black kid's bike or something, how the fuck does that story merit national attention more than this story? Right? That would be an insane argument.
Yeah, she's a racist white person though. That's all they want. That's the story they want. Give us racist white people. Oh, they're not actually racist? Well, we'll just make them racist.
Yes. Exactly. So, and again, I will never forgive the media for refusing to cover how the Covington kid story was really a story about black Hebrew nationalists being hyper racist to both white children and Native Americans. And they're what started the entire conflict. And 99% of the people don't realize this.
No,
it was never
they don't
reported.
know at all.
Yeah.
Of course.
And the only
We gotta
reason people
protect
know,
stereotypes.
right, and the only reason I know about it and other people know about it is because the Black Hebrew Israelites filmed themselves being racist and proudly put it up on their own website.
Yeah, because
So,
that's how you get clout.
yes.
You're racist against white people.
Living does Wall Street for $5 says, imagine throwing away all the Epstein momentum because you won't prosecute crimes. Midterms are going to be wild.
Oh,
Very
I
true.
know. I just look at how are the Democrats even still alive at this point?
Yes.
They're making every single mistake you could possibly make.
Mm-hmm. It's very
They
dumb.
should just jump in with both feet. Yeah. Crime's a problem. Let's get the National Guard in there. What about Epstein?
Right. You don't know this channel for $5 says unrelated, but Sitch sounds cute. I want him to implant his seed into me and bear a child. I'm a straight man.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Look,
Listen,
that's a true fan.
that is a true
I'd
fan
hazard
right
a
there.
guess that they're S-class.
That is an S-class fan right there. But listen, I've been spoken for. Okay. Sorry. It's gonna take a lot more than $5 to sway me away. Okay. From Sammy G.
You could get him an address though if you got 100K.
There you go. Yeah, you want the 100,000 to throw at me? Maybe then we'll talk. Okay. Brian, thanks so much for $2. Says, man, this stream is a real banger. Well, thank you, Brian. Harrison Dill for $2 says, Adam. Oh, yeah, you were the one that was Adam. Thanks, never close the race.
I did, yeah.
Thank you guys for $5. Sade Ray for 2 SGD says, what specific examples of anti-white is in the media? Don't make me. You're gonna make me play this video. We're gonna play this. Should I play this video? Should we play this video?
Let's
this video,
play it. I
feel like this video is
to
going to
it.
make people racist if they see this video.
I'm dying
hesitant to play this video. This video is
really
insane.
Look, you're worried about protecting black people from racist white people by not playing the video.
Yes.
That's what you're trying to do, Sitch?
Yes.
Yeah. I think we should just see the video.
Okay, here's the
decide
video
for ourselves.
This is from 2018. Okay. This is how crazy America used to be. I think it still is lesser than this. I don't know if this would fly today, but it's still, this is how crazy we used to be. It's on HB fucking O. Okay.
Ferguson officials responding to a scathing.
Do you suffer from white thoughts? White thoughts are a symptom of an aggressive disease called acute viral perceptive albinitis.
Violence isn't the answer.
Also known.
So he's watching a protest, okay, and people are rioting, and he says violence isn't the answer. And the show is saying that's a bad thing. That's a white thought to say violence isn't the answer. And then visually, he has a thought cloud that says all lives matter. These are all portrayed as negative, bad, white thoughts.
Is whiteness.
And the
Is
way
he
to
doing
fix
a little
that,
blackface?
yes, the way to fix that is to rub on a product called White Be Gone. Okay. So again, this
Yeah.
we get into the whole like, oh, when we say whiteness isn't the problem, we're not saying anything racist, right? We're just redefining the term white to mean not white people, but we're just going to use the term white and white people anyway. Nonsense.
Well, and we're going to depict, we got to get rid of this white skin.
yes, yes. But it's comedy, right? It's like Sam. This is like a Sam Hyde comedy bit, so it's not, you're not supposed to take it sincerely, right?
All-purpose awareness cream.
Yes,
Yeah, you have to be aware of how racist you are.
right. Well, it says all,
Yes.
and at the top it says all natural woke skincare product, White Be Gone. Now this is so crazy. You might think that it's supposed to be making fun of the concept, but keep watching. It is clearly not making fun of. This is sincere.
The whiteness virus targets healthy, culturally and ethnically specific cells. Italian, Irish, Scandinavian, etc., and what have you. The albinitis then attacks and destroys any cultural or ethnic specificity using an arsenal of fake holidays, 17th century aristocratic class warfare, the one-drop rule, and Elvis. Luckily, we have a cure. White Be Gone.
I did nothing, yo. For what? I'm going for what? What did I do? I ain't doing nothing. Who the fuck's that selling to?
My thoughts get cured.
Okay. Not only do we have to be subjected to virulent anti-white racism, but we have to be subjected to artsy fartsy bullshit that makes no fucking sense and is just there for retarded reasons.
Right. I'm not sure the black community would approve of this.
No.
This white liberal bullshit.
Well, the guy who made this is black,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, it definitely feels like white art, white Karen art school energy.
Amen. I'm John, and I'm an actor. And I have to confess to you that at one time I, yes, even I, suffered from white thoughts.
So the white thought is poor Muslims. I would never live in a country that tells women what to wear. That's the evil white thought.
Mm-hmm.
A Muslim friend of mine told me she was stopped at the airport every time she would travel, and I, in the throes of my albinitis, suggested that she refrain from wearing her headscarf so as not to inconvenience the airport security.
Yes, it's a bet. He really said that.
You see, I know from firsthand experience, to be plagued by white thoughts can be deceptively euphoric because it gives victims of whiteness a profound sense of identity and purpose, as well as an unbridled populist political power.
So white people gain their identity by oppressing and victimizing and being racist to other groups of people.
Yeah, I know. This is
like that.
horrible.
Yeah.
This is fucking horrible.
Yes. This is insane. This was on HBO.
Who sent this to you?
I know. It just popped up in like my recommended for some reason. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Random acts of flyness.
White thoughts can be deceptively euphoric, as they give victims of whiteness a profound sense of identity and purpose, as well as unbridled populist political power. Now,
John, is everything all right?
Yeah, can we just,
John, is everything all right?
yeah, I'm sorry, can we cut for 1 second?
Everything all right?
Yeah, sorry. It's fine. No, give me 1 second. Thank you so much. I know we talked about this, and I don't really want to belabor the point, but
Yeah, out with it.
well, it's just I know we sort of talked about the spectrum of ethnic identity sort of subsumed in whiteness, and I'm not exactly white. I'm more of a
John,
Irish.
I empathize, I understand, I hear you.
Good, because I don't want to.
But you aren't here because of your relative cultural proximity to the whites. You are here because the people that call themselves white, those victims, for whatever reason, they trust you and that beautiful beige face of yours.
So there you go. Listen, it doesn't matter how you identify, okay? You look white, and white people look at you and they go, that's a white guy. So that's all that matters, right? For your to be portrayed as the evil white. And also just the fact that like the defense argument here isn't, wow, this seems hyper racist that you're distilling down whiteness to this crazy ideology. No, the defense is, well, listen, I'm not really white. I'm like Irish, and we were like, that's the defense, which is even insane that would be the defense anyway.
Yeah, I'm a marginalized person. I'm not one of the whites.
You see, drunk with whiteness, stumbling in their stupor, you have what it takes to sober them with that bullish sincerity in your spirit. They need you. Help them.
Could you imagine like the
This is fucking horrible.
could you imagine the black version of this? Like, are you having N-word thoughts?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a black actor here who's like, try to tell like, are you having thoughts about criminality or something? Like just some insane.
You want a car
like,
check, a white lady?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Okay, I got it.
And all those young black people that want to be criminals, they'll
Right.
listen to you.
Yes.
They'll stop their criminality.
Mary, take 3. Marker.
And so, friends, the reason white thoughts are so difficult to treat is because of this little spectrometer right here. No matter where your white thoughts fall on the spectrum, from burning crosses and wearing sheets, to engaging in the secret suspicion that your Guatemalan housekeeper holds some sort of grudge against you, to sitting there comfortable on your laptop, watching this infomercial, saying out loud to yourself, "Oh, this applies to me. I read Noam Chomsky. I'm not racist." Maybe not.
There you go. Even if you're a good lefty, you still need the white be gone. Okay. You still need the evil white be gone.
Yeah, even if you read Noam Chomsky.
Yeah.
John, but sadly, "I'm not racist," spoken aloud, is a classic white thought. You see, because of their diversity, these white thoughts are incredibly difficult to treat. So we must remain vigilant and remember that all these white thoughts stem from the same virus and are thus all the same shit.
So wearing a hood and burning a cross because you want to lynch black people is the same thing as saying, oh, I think my Guatemalan housekeeper doesn't like me, or saying I'm not racist. How is this not the classic witch burning Kafka trap? If you deny your racism, then you are just as bad as the people who wanted to literally lynch black people.
Yeah. I mean, remember what I said about white stereotypes? The stereotype that all white people are racist?
Yes.
How is this not propagating that stereotype?
This is that stereotype.
Who is the good white in this? The not racist white in this little message here.
The good white is the person who says and acknowledges that they're a horrible fucking racist.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So look, so you are a racist no matter what. Look,
Right.
that's
can't
the
win.
stereotype. All white people are racist.
Yeah.
There's only two types of racist white people: those that acknowledge that they're racist and those that don't. But they're all fucking racists.
Now, a dialogue always. I want you to tell me.
Disgusting.
I want you to tell me how we're not engaging with the ideas here. Okay, tell
Yeah.
me how we're misinterpreting all of everything that's happening in this video, and actually, this is all some sort of genius level, completely not racist view of the world that we're witnessing. before
course.
us. Yeah.
Can you imagine if they made a video where there's only two types of black people? There's those that admit that they're criminals and those that are denying that they're criminals.
Right. Right.
What would that make you think? Huh?
This is less subtle than, like, I don't know if you ever saw Sam Hyde's sketch that was like the white man's burden sketch, where it was like all these non-white people like dragging progress down of society. This is less, and I was like, I watched them like this. This is the most like not subtle like racist thing I've ever seen. This is less subtle and more racist than even that. That's impressive. That's quite a feat.
How is it invisible? How's it invisible?
But don't worry. We at Dax Pharmaceuticals have created a cutting-edge topical non-invasive treatment for white thoughts. Using turn of the 13th century nanotechnology, we have managed to create a topical ointment that, when massaged into the temples, enters through the pores into the limbic system of a person infected with whiteness. Also from
So she's putting on what you would put on to do blackface.
Yes.
They're only doing it on the temples, obviously, because they don't want to do blackface.
Right.
It'd be like, that would be a step too far, but this is completely insane.
This is so insane that it's hard to believe this isn't making fun of the concept of wokeness.
Whiteness. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it seems like it is endorsing the concept of whiteness.
No, 100%. Right. And I've seen this. I've looked up because I was like, is this real? It's not parody. And I looked up some of the other guy's stuff, and no, like, he's a true fucking woke believer. This is not a parody.
Yeah. I don't know how you'd watch this and not walk away and think all white people are racist. Just as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And biologically racist.
Yes.
Intrinsically racist.
Yes.
Lasercism, the exciting technological revolution from DAX that allows you to laser your racial glaucoma away.
Side effects may include, but are not limited to, black thoughts, existential crisis, bouts of amnesia, a loss of social power, acceptance of the mortality of yourself and your culture. Your white friends wondering what's gotten into you.
Oh my God.
Wait, what is it? The mortality of your culture? What the fuck does that mean?
Acceptance of the mortality of your culture. Your
What
culture's
the
going to
fuck?
die.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Basically saying, oh yeah, the white culture's gone.
Jesus.
They're, oh my God, can you imagine if they said the death of black culture? The black culture is based on criminality, and we really need to get rid of that culture. Can you imagine making a short about that?
Yes. And you want to see how cucked the creator of this sketch is that even through all this, and you'll see there's going to be text messages in the top right that is a self-critique of this sketch. And your mind's going to blow when you say, well, of all the things to critique on this sketch, it's not going to critique any of those. It's going to critique something that you would never have suspected in a million years. Okay.
The first one says, yo.
Yeah.
So I guess it's someone texting him.
It's supposed to be
Your
like
parents worrying
someone
that you might bring a biracial child into the world. And what type of life would that be? Dry mouth.
I just watched the cut. It's good, but what? Actually, never mind. Cause tell me. In the brotherhood between this one and the white angel, white devil pieces, it seems to me that artists who should be addressing whiteness less and affirming blackness more. Just wanted to put that out there. Fuck them. I'm not stunting them. You right. So this creator is so cucked that after making the most anti-white racist thing imaginable, they're like, oh, I'm going to get criticized because I'm focusing too much on white people.
Right.
It's just so fucking crazy.
Not enough on promoting black people.
Oh my god.
Insane.
Fucking terrible.
Insane.
It's insane. I couldn't believe this. I couldn't believe this when I saw it. Mac, I like John Hamm too. And why he fucking degrades himself with this fucking racist dog shit.
Yeah, it does suck.
Yes.
I don't know how people can not think that this is just, I mean, it's a terrible stereotype that the mainstream media, the fucking Hollywood, everyone is dying to promote.
Yeah.
How is this healthy? How is this healthy? How is it any different than the racist stereotype black people had to deal with in the 1950s and 60s?
It's not.
How's it any different?
The same thing.
The game is this is like payback. We're going to create a racist, we're going to create a toxic stereotype of white people that they'll never be able to escape.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy that they also, I mean, the Democratic Party we're the party of anti-racism. Sure. Sure you are.
Yep.
Massive irony there, right?
Lives and does also for $2 says that super chat shows the wages of Yahweh. There you go. Hayden Dill for 37 months of discipline with freedom. Thanks so much. Says S class is the best class. But at least he knows that I'm not Harrison Dill. A team pukes lard and S class peas honey.
Really? Wow.
Peas honey. Wow. Interesting. I don't know if that's a good thing.
It's got to be painful. I mean,
oh wait, I have to bring it up. Adam, I go this S class is best class. We haven't heard an A team for months.
That was pretty good.
You like that?
That was pretty good.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we did hear a bunch on Sunday, but whatever.
Yes.
People are only doing it because I did that joke on Sunday.
Must be it.
I'm telling you,
prime, though.
I completely revived S class. S class was on the ropes. S class was dying, was a dying breed, and because I made a joke on Sunday, look at how much life there is in S class. You should be thanking me.
I think it's whichever one of us goes on a better rant, angry rant, gets the praise.
Well, look, we both had great angry rants today. I think it was a spectacular show, but I wish our society didn't have to be in such dire straits for us to have a good show, right? It'd be nice if this was just resolved. I don't see how. I mean, obviously, I agree with everything you're saying. I don't see how Ace's strategy is going to help Democrats, and it's just going to make Republicans stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah, you're right. 100%.
Yeah.
Harrison Dill for $5 says Sitch is the true centrist. Adam is a Republican apologist. S class is best class.
Who said that? Is that Ace?
Harrison Dill said that.
Oh, okay.
Lives in Deswell for $2 says Norm Macdonald joke remains the eternal litmus test. Very true. QB Madara for 125p says Destiny has a pattern of using snuck premises when ascribing position to his opponents. He said wall-to-wall coverage because it's easier to attack. That's 1,000% true. Yes.
Yeah,
Corn
he
Pop.
does that a lot.
He does, yeah. Corn Pop for $10 says David French says the soft on crime happens because voters are apathetic to local elections, seating them to organize activists who promote radicals. He advises voters to not ignore local elections. That's completely true. That's completely true. Yeah.
Is that what's going on with Donnie in New York?
That's what goes on with a lot of these places. Yeah. People get very hyper fixated on even people who vote, they get fixated on national elections and they ignore local elections. That's very true.
I vote in all the elections.
J-Mac just came in. I'm so late. Oh, J-Mac, I have to go back. This was a banger. A banger of a show today. Emotional Minotaur for $5 says S-Class is the best class. Thank you. Ryan's for no $2.
Emotional Minotaur. What do you think that's all about? I noticed S-Class is full of a bunch of
emotional Minotaurs.
strange people, Sitch.
Listen, Minotaurs need to be milked too, Adam. Okay, why are you such a bigot against Minotaurs? All right,
Yeah. Did you see we dodged a bullet
I did see that.
that our favorite fan of the show decided not to draw? As the minute-
Majin was supposedly going to draw some kind of picture of me and Adam. One of us as the maiden, one of us as the milker, or the Minotaur,
Yeah.
I should say. And
Yeah.
thankfully, J-Mac dissuaded him. So I appreciate that, J-Mac.
Yes, we owe you big time.
Brian for $2 says, "Man, the stream is a real banger." Thank you. True. Ace, thank you for $10. Brian for $5 says, "The mainstream media is dead. The days of trustworthy news outlets will never come back. Independent media is the best bet moving forward." I don't think that's the case. We've been through this before. When like the printing press and like newspapers really blew up, there was like it was kind of the same thing where everyone and their mother had like a newspaper, and it was just complete garbage, fake news in every newspaper. No one knew what to trust because everyone had their own nonsense rag that was being spread around the city. So I do think that's the histories, the pattern of history, I should say. I think we're gonna figure out a way to deal with all this misinformation and come back from this. And I do think the mainstream media will somehow manage to get their head out of their ass. All it really takes is one company to do it right and to make a bunch of money, and that forces all the other companies to follow suit.
Since it's such a bottom-up process, though, is the population just doomed to be partisan for at least a generation?
Maybe.
I mean, that's a hard part of the situation.
America has always been hyper partisan, but we're more hyper partisan than we've been in a long time. So
yeah, it was always certain issues. Now it's like every issue.
Right.
Every fucking issue.
We need our squid.
It would be like, oh yeah, well we agree on that, but we disagree
we need
on
our
this,
alien squid.
Right? Now we can't agree on anything.
When we go to war with China, maybe we'll agree then. Kick Nastanza for $5 says, "LOL, MAGA coming out in full force to cover up for Trump being best friends with Epstein as they pretend they ever cared about Ukrainian lives before." Now that is true. Alex Wright for $5.
Same argument about Democrats, though. They're saying Democrats never cared about Ukrainians.
Right. Or Epstein, yeah. Which is why the whole thing is silly. No one cares about anything unless you have to remember this from politics. Everyone is a fucking piece of shit. Everyone only cares about things, except for us, obviously. Everyone only cares about things that promote their political narrative. So,
well, the Republicans are saying that they're bearing this story because they don't care about Ukraine. They never really cared about Ukraine, which is just ridiculous. They're bearing the story because they're trying to protect black people from harmful stereotypes.
I'm not saying they're saying they're bearing. No, they're calling them hypocrites because they're saying they never cared about Ukraine until they could use a Ukrainian refugee in this story.
Of course. But to make the argument that they don't really care about Ukraine.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Sure.
If they really cared about Ukraine, they'd be talking about this story.
Right. Brian for $5 says, "Ace is being a reactionary rather than look at the situation clearly. Stop being a reactionary, Ace."
There you go.
Libertarian Sasquatch for $5 says, "Ace and the lefties in chat are really fueling the stereotype that they only think emotionally, not critically. You said black person." I don't think it's that. I think it's not even emotional. It's just, well, I guess it is emotional, but it's just tribalism. I just don't want to give the other side a win. That's really how it seems.
Well, I mean, there is a lot of disgusting racist behavior going on that nobody really wants to endorse. I just, you can't let that stop you from talking about actual issues. So,
right. Malik for 18 months says, "As a black man, I speak for the community when I say lock this animal up. 14 arrests is ridiculous. Ace and his people are making this worse for us." There you go.
Yeah. Black people don't like crime either.
No. They're the ones most affected by it generally.
Yeah, it's sad. It's super sad.
Insensitive for $5 says, "The right would care about school shootings if it were done by black people. Oh, you sweet summer child." RBGH fan for $5 says, "Ace, did the Daniel Penny case go viral for political reasons based on race?"
Of course it did.
Yes. I think Ace would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think Ace was on Daniel Penny's side, if I recall correctly. So
Ryan, oh,
for $20.
for
Thank you so much.
$20. Yeah.
Yes.
19.99. You know what that means, don't you?
That's the yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well, we would
Sat-
rather use Super Chat, even if it's from your phone, than not Super Chat
Right.
at all, right?
Right. Libertarian Sasquatch for $2 says, bro, the left uses mass shootings for gun control. That is true. Everyone uses whatever incident for their own political purposes and causes.
They do, but
that's
that's a fact of life. You
I know.
can't just say, oh, well, we can't talk about this because people are using it for political purpose. No, fuck
Right.
you. Fuck you.
Harrison Dill for $10 says, Adam, when I typed, you don't think any Republicans are racist, I was being hyperbolic. Adam, whenever the GOP does something crazy like alligator Alcatraz, you defend it.
I mean, I've never defended the alligator Alcatraz. I mean, it's a great idea. I don't remember defending it.
Mm-hmm.
So
the real
yeah. Oh, go ahead. Did
you want to respond longer or no?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Real Holds Name for $10 says, Ace, is there any issue on the left that you think that pundits on the left clinically exploited for political gain or to paint a demographic as evil? Insensitive for $10 says, I'm not sure anybody in this conversation has seen the video that follows the incident where none of the other train goers care or help, and he walks saying, I got that white bitch. Yeah, I did see that video. I was kind of confused. Did they see that this guy stabbed her? It was unclear to me what did they know? I mean, you could see he's like dripping blood everywhere. So if everyone in the train, and there's an assortment of all races, saw a woman get stabbed and no one went to stop that guy or to check on her, that's fucking holy fuck. That's crazy. And it is weird. Like if all those people saw him stab her, they're all just kind of like shuffling around him. That's strange. Like I know no one wants to get stabbed, but like I would be like, okay, we need to get a bunch of guys and we need to Daniel Penny hold this fucking guy down. Because if you see someone randomly kill a person on the train for no reason, why would you think that you're not going to be attacked next?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they could have just not really noticed. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't show the aftermath of the situation.
Well, it shows. I don't know if the full video is out there or I haven't seen it.
The full video is out there.
Okay.
They have not released, the news media did not release the full video.
Well, I've seen the video where it stops right before he kills her, and then there's an aftermath part where he's wandering around.
Yes.
Right,
yeah.
But I haven't seen like the connective thing. So yeah, like I don't know if those people know what happened. So that would obviously change the situation.
I mean, people were sitting pretty close to her, and I mean that was a pretty violent act. It's hard for me to imagine.
That's why
they wouldn't have.
Right. Yeah, if they did, I don't know if he was in a different train or something, but if it's in the same train, those people saw it and they did nothing, that's insane behavior too. So QB Madre for 125p says, question for Ace, if you acknowledge that there's a soft on crime issue, how does one address it in the correct way? What would be the phrasing?
You can't even talk about, look, it's been this way for 10 years. You can't even talk about crime without being accused of racism. You can't talk about immigration without being accused of racism. You can't talk about fucking anything without being accused of racism.
And part of the thing too, again, with the people not like reacting to it is, this is why it was so fucked up for them to go after Daniel Penny. Because you're basically disincentivizing good Samaritans from being involved in these sorts of situations.
Yeah. Yeah. So what they did to Daniel Penny is just a crime.
Ryan for $5 says, that's not the right, that's racist and bots. Question to Ace, does he think the racists are indicative of the right in general or not? Your whole thing for $2 says, who are you talking about, Ace? There's a lot of, there's a shit ton of white nationalists and groypers on X. So whether you want to call them Republicans or right wingers, that's, obviously people on the right don't want to do that, but there's a lot of them.
Which is good, I think. Obviously, they want to deny their existence. So, which
it's
means
good
they're
in
not
that
racist.
respect. It's bad in the respect that then it never gets addressed. It's kind of like when the center left doesn't want to acknowledge the crazy socialist as being a problem.
Mainstream Republican people in power, I think, do a better job of castigating their racists and distancing themselves from them than mainstream Democrats do from doing that with socialists or communists. Obviously, you got a fucking socialist running for mayor in New York, right?
I think that used to be true. I don't think that's true this year. I think this year has changed everything.
So you think if a racist ran for mayor in I don't know what, Houston, where would one run? That would be.
I think you're going to be very
Party
surprised.
Would say nothing about it.
It seems like more and more strange shit where Nick Fuentes and Groyper shit is just getting more and more popular, and it's very bizarre.
Because of shit like this. Oh my God,
I understand
it's
that,
so
but
fucking obvious.
But maybe these people are lying, but all the Fuenteses and the Schaefers of the world are claiming that they all have ins in the Trump administration, and that a lot of people in the Republican Party are fully aware of what's going on, but are too afraid to push back against it.
Yeah, we never watched that Schaefer interview on Tim's channel, which was a little insane. So
completely insane. So I think what you're saying used to be true. I don't think it's true anymore.
I guess, no, that would be frightening.
RBGH fam for $5 says, Ace, do you care about Tony Timpa or Daniel Shaver or just George Floyd? Quote, for non-political reasons. Sketch for $5 says, quote, Kick Doomer never went away. It just got rebranded to Kick Ace. Well, listen, Ace could take it. Okay. You gotta respect Ace. He dishes it out, but he'll come on and he'll take it. And that's good. That's good. He'll come on and argue his point. So Salty Triska for $5 says the problem is Republicans are using this incident the same way Democrats use school shootings as an excuse to take away people's rights. I would agree with that to some extent. Well, not that they're using it, but they could theoretically potentially use it for that. Yes, that is true, or potentially true. A rat named Mouse for $5 says, in the grand scheme of things, this doesn't matter, or reminds me of, quote, why are we talking about this? Spider-Man is coming out.
Oh, yeah. That's bad. Super bad.
Yeah. Curtism 255 for 279 Canadian says, Adam, Ace is saying exactly what I said to you. DM.
Yes.
Valve and Go for $5 says, not grooming gangs, so not that bad. Ace, YouTube wouldn't let me say the word. Hayden Dill for $2 says, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees? Yeah, there you go. That is the perfect response. Whatever, like the ultimate whataboutism. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? Yes. The Real Wholesale for $10 says, for the most part, I've seen the right ask, was this racially motivated? I haven't seen any of them saying anything like what Ace is saying. That said, I'm not on Twitter. It's like 90% of or 95% of this crazy shit is all on Twitter. So if you're not on Twitter or you don't follow or like on, I don't know, select Rumble channels or I forget whatever the what is it called? Whatever that social media site is that the super racist guy Torba made. If you're not in those spaces, you're not going to see it. But if you are in those spaces, and on X, it's very crazy to see. You will see it all over the place. So,
lots of racism. Lots of all black people are this way, which is just not remotely true.
Right. Short Stack Goblin for $7. Thank you. Says Ace and other lefties love to tell people why they care about something, and predictably it's always to do with some nefarious reason. So tiresome. 99% of the world isn't on X. Dude, touch grass.
Yeah, to say that you don't care about the issue, that is a little infuriating. I mean, I care about the issue for this specific reason, that it's completely one-sided.
Yeah.
That CNN is going to use every opportunity to create negative stereotypes about white people and fucking protect black people and brown people from negative stereotypes, and it's completely unfair. It's not equal protection under the law.
Right.
It's fucking bullshit. It's totally bullshit. We're being attacked culturally, and anytime you stand up for yourself, it's like, oh my God, you're a racist. How dare you?
It's making it impossible for us to deal with problems like fixing the soft on crime policies.
Yes. Yeah.
Detective Stabler, SVU for $5 says the same attitude from Ace about this is what kept the grooming games from being acknowledged for 10 years. It was denied and racist to talk about. That was the problem, yeah. That's why so much of this shit is going on.
That's why immigration got out of control, because no one
Yes.
could fucking talk about it because borders were racist.
Right.
It's like you erect this taboo. Oh, we can't talk about this.
And
I
yeah.
mean, you remember the conversation that we had about, I can't remember who we were talking to. It was something along the lines of, well, I was trying to make the argument that you care about immigration just at some point, right? What
Right.
point is that point? Because sooner or later, the culture is completely indistinguishable from the culture that is fucking America, right?
Right.
So, but nobody on the left would ever even engage in the conversation about what point it was, because they'd erected this taboo around it. You can't talk about it at all. Well, how can you talk about what the fucking point is if you can't even talk about it?
Right. Yeah.
Makes no sense.
It's true. It's true. And I think the immigration thing, and you can look at this in the UK. I mean, this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, where if you have a real issue and the left doesn't let people or anyone talk about it because you get deemed racist, what's going to happen? It's going to be a massive backlash in the other direction. I see all these people on X talking about, well, we need to, what, I forget the term they use, like re-immigrate. Like we need to like take British citizens and like deport them back to countries they maybe never lived to because they're not white. Like obviously that's going to happen. If you ignore a real problem, then everyone's going to go the extreme in the other direction. Because unfortunately, this is how humans react to situations.
Totally.
Nomad for $5 says, Ace, am I racist for caring about this? You could be, or you could be a useful idiot. So, Brian for $5 says, who is he listening to? There's not one conservative pushing for segregation. In fact, it's the left that continues to push for that. Well, you might not call them conservative, but there is a lot of weirdo, I would say far right, alt-right people pushing for all this stuff, including Elijah Schaffer, who was on Tim Pool spouting this for an hour a week ago or something. So unchallenged. Japanese name, which I can't read. Thanks so much for the 700 yen. Saying Ace is clearly incapable of changing his mind. Talking to a brick wall isn't interesting. Sorry. Jonathan Rosler for 36 months says, hey, Ace, maybe the reason 95% is bad actors is because anyone who's a good actor can't talk about this without being called a grifter or useful idiot. I think that is partially
Yeah, that
true.
discourages a lot of people. It doesn't discourage us, but it does discourage many reasonable people who are just like, I don't need this fucking shit.
Rat named Mouse for $5 says, the race grifters are explaining awful tragedy, but it's trivial, unimportant tragedies. Please stop talking about it. Okay, buddy. That does seem a little contradictory, yes.
I sent Dialogue Always the link. He sent me he asked to come on 52 minutes ago.
Okay,
I just noticed it, so.
I guess he never. Oh, you sent him, he asked him on and you just sent him the link now.
Yeah, I just sent him the link now.
Okay. Well, I got to go to the bathroom real quick, so.
Twitter might have been fucking with me, though.
Why don't you keep reading?
I can read some super chat.
Okay, Dialogue always comes on and wants to argue with me for an hour.
Tell me where we're
at
before you run.
Nomad for $2 says, Sitch and Adam, the 5% LFG.
Okay.
Thank you.
LFG fire.
Yes.
What does LFG mean? Do I have to look it up? I'll look it up later. Intensive for $5. It's me. I'm 90%. I have the most important voice in this entire chat. Oh, do you? Oh, do you now? Well, that's good to know. The Oceanist for $5 says, can we all just agree that the race grifters on any side are cringe? This guy was able to do what he did due to soft on crime BS. It would be great if we could have that conversation without the race issue. Obviously, I'm calling it out because CNN can't even talk about it without framing it in this idea that the only reason the right is talking about it is because they're all racists. So that's basically the spin that they put on the story. So how are you supposed to even have the conversation about the soft on crime policies? It serves them in two ways. It serves them because they want to perpetuate the stereotype that their political enemies are all racist, and it serves them because they came up with the soft on crime policies. They don't want to acknowledge that their policies are garbage and are killing people. RBGH fam for $5 says, by the way, the only reason the 1350 point exists is that it was simply a response to the left regarding equal prison demographics and defund the police. Unequal. Oh, unequal prison demographics and defund the police. I guess that changes the whole intent. So glad you saved me there.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I'm not 100% sure, but when I would see a lot of people doing 1350, or I forget some other statistic that they always throw out there, it was almost always people doing it for racist reasons. I didn't really. Now, maybe, I don't know, maybe whoever started it way back in the day started it for some, actual not racist reason, but definitely whenever I see it used, almost 99% of the time someone just trying to say black people are criminals.
Yeah, and I've heard people use it to say that we should have a fully segregated society and that blacks and whites shouldn't even live together. So
right.
This is like their argument. Look, they are prone to criminality, so it's horrible.
Girl Jose for $5 says at least Deb would focus on the issue instead of the optics. Also, I guess George Floyd was more worthy of notice than a random Ukrainian girl. There you go.
George Floyd gave them the narrative that they wanted. All white cops are racist.
Yeah.
So that's why they jumped on it.
Yep. Micro Mega, thanks so much for 37 months. Says, behold my awesome milestone. Behold. Thank you.
Yeah, 37 months. That's great.
Sketch for $5 says, I have fatigue. All these engagement farmers calling everything fatigue is getting on my nerves because more than the actual topics touch grass. I agree. I also have fatigue. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
None of these people have fucking fatigue about the issue. They love talking about the issue. It drives their engagement. The fuck are they talking about? They're lying to you. Who called Bathhouse for 2 hours says, you should have Nuxanor on. He reminds me of Sitch. Yeah, maybe. It's funny because, a lot of people say that. We have similar.
Oh, really?
We have similar whiny voices or nasally voices.
Guy is, so.
He's also a cartoon character on the internet who hates Hassan. He always does those. I'm sure you've seen those videos.
Oh, yeah, he's talking about us.
300% fucked or cooked or whatever.
He's mentioned us in his videos before, so I know who this is.
Yeah, I like Nux. Barry Bruiser for $5 says 90% of this chat room is racist? ? There you go. They're all racist. Philip Kogan for 32 months says the more interesting boat story this week is what took out the Venezuelan boat because it wasn't a gun or a missile, most probably a laser. Wait, what?
Really?
Is that? I'd never heard that.
Did we laser a boat? A Venezuelan boat?
A boat? Okay. Interesting.
Incentive for $2 says, I'm turning off my racist limiters. Oh,
there you go. Insensitive. Yes. He's being insensitive. Yes. There you go. He's reaching a new level of racism. He's the Super Saiyan Goku of racism. Thank you. Lives in Deswalt's Billy for $5 says that Skit's argument is dangerous because it works in reverse. If they're all the same, reject that nonsense. Completely true. Completely true.
Yeah, it's sad that someone thought, oh, this is great. We'll green light this.
Right.
All white people hate themselves. They'll love this. They'll think it's hilarious.
Oh my God, you're right. It was obviously a Jewish space laser that shot down from space that hit Greta Thunberg's boat. It wasn't a flare. It was a Jewish space laser, obviously, controlled by the Israeli government. So. The Curtism for 279 Canadian says, couldn't super chat, so I DM'd Sitch. Censored. Did you?
Oh.
Here it is.
Curtis was making, in his DM to me, talking about the Ukrainian thing. So
Curtis says, this is what he wants to say with super chat. This John Hamm video is gayer than gay porn.
Yes.
There you go. Thank you. I agree.
Very gay and cringe.
Yes. Metalworks 4119 for 2 hours says, fuck the sketch and the people who made it. Seriously. True. Jonathan Smith for $10 says, the ace guy, oh my God, doesn't understand that ideas and thoughts are held in the mind. And then when a moment happens, sometimes that is a vent for those thoughts and ideas in general, i.e. crime is too high. Yeah, there are. Well, the problem is that there'll be a narrative that forms, and then an event will happen. They'll create a breaking point. The issue will be, is it a real narrative? Because if it's a fake narrative, the breaking point has the same emotional impact if it's real. Like, for example, I think the narrative is real, that there is too many problems with crime in a lot of areas of the country, and we're too soft on it. So this incident, to me, because I believe the fact set pattern that crime is too high and soft on crime policies are too damaging, this would be something that reflects reality, where I would argue something that it had the exact same effect on a much larger scale which was fake, was the George Floyd incident, where people had in their mind a narrative that was not true, that, oh my God, the police are all racist, that unarmed Black people are being killed by white racist cops all across the country. And then they see that incident and it sets off this explosion.
Well, and this is the reason why there wasn't any sort of legislation passed, because there was really nothing to pass.
Right. No Screaming to the Void for Jar says John Hamm feels guilty for the Indian baseball movie. What movie was John Hamm in? That was an Indian baseball movie?
Maybe a movie he made about Indians playing baseball?
Well, I'm assuming it was a movie he was in, so. Sells Temple for $5 says RS cut programs, or Republicans cut programs that keep crazy people off the streets, yet only Democrats get the blame for it. Also, Americans always think crime is an all-time high. And see, if that's true that there's a bunch of Republican policies that are cutting funding to keep, criminals and crazy people off the streets and all this other stuff, then that's really what the narrative the Democrats should be pushing. They should be saying,
why wouldn't they?
Yeah, they should be saying, we're tough on crime. We want to keep these people off the streets. We want to put them, in jail. We want to get people to committed involuntarily. And it's the Republicans that are cutting funding for these programs. But they're not really saying that. They're not really pushing that narrative because they don't want to appear to be tough on crime, because that means that you're racist.
Yeah.
So.
Very sad.
I don't think John Hamm was in Major League. That's an old movie. I think it was before John Hamm's acting career. Orca for 24 months. Thanks so much for being 2 years of Free Will Seeker. Says A-Team Reigns sue PPP Preem. You guys are the sanity the internet needs. What a lovely gold emblem would go better with a wrench. Regardless, behold. Look at that.
Thank you. Thank you for the A-Team Reigns of Preem.
For $2 says, I'm not on X. I wouldn't know. See, that's probably for the best. Being on X is fucking horrible. So. Sitch is doing the statistics argument he was torching people on Twitter for. I'm sorry if you just walked in the stream and missed everything that we've been talking about and how I've talked extensively about how this all makes sense, and you're stupid. But you can go back and listen to the whole stream and not be dumb. The movie was $1 Million Arm. I never saw that. Or even heard of it. Landscape Quarter for $2 says super chat and DM due to YouTube censorship. Landscape Quarter super chatted, said, Ace, quote, I'm not a cuck. I choose to sit in the chair. Terrible. Lethal Strain for $2 says, Ruined Leon did a really good video on this. I'll check it out. I like Ruined Leon. He's good. Yeah, I don't know if it was you. Someone sent me the video. Or at least, yeah, Lethal Strain, you sent me the video. Ruined Leon blaming a victim for getting murdered. Yep. Orca for $10 says, I don't see the Groyper movement breaking outside the internet. It still should be addressed as it is now. The anti-woke movement was against racism. They've got normie numbers. Holy shit, no DA, please. Hi, Wormy. I don't know. I used to think that was the case, but it seems like it's moving outside the internet. Even Tim Pool was complaining about his normie friends sending him Nick Fuentes TikToks, or Instagram Reels. I do think it is moving. I think it's migrating, and people are not going to be very happy about this, and they're going to be caught somewhat surprised. Afro Fry Cook for $20. Thank you. I missed yours. Here says, The reason a single story matters is because people tend to need a sympathetic human element to get worked up. Few people really care about a principle by itself. If the left wing wasn't soft on crime, this wouldn't matter. That is true. People do need a face to go along with a story. Statistics generally don't move most people.
This is horrifying. I sent you a tweet. AF post after he stabbed her. The surrounding black passengers left their seats and made no attempt to aid her as she bled out. Actually, have the video. Like a black woman sitting there and a black guy. There's a black guy in the back.
Oh my God.
That's fucking horrible.
Yep. That is crazy. Hayden Dill for $2 says, no, Sitch, Lauren Southern shot the flare, obviously. Obviously, it was Lauren Southern. Dr. Dill for $2 says, if we admit some people really are just violent freaks, that would mean Republicans and those nasty independents were right about something, which can obviously never happen. True. Death by Sloth for $2 says, so much of modern politics is about making counter moves to head off your opponent rather than making actual moves, which often leads to irrationality. One thing about Trump is that he does just do things for good or for ill. That comment, Death by Sloth, is so on point. Everyone should remember that. So much, now to be fair, it's not just modern politics, it was politics in general, but so much of politics is about making counter moves to head off your opponent rather than actual moves, which often leads to irrationality. Remember that, everyone. That's very true. That's so horrifically true. Anonymous Coward for $5 says, this rhetorical failure for the left, Destiny has his take because the Democratic policies have no answers. It's likely this take results turns off the least amount of voters from the left. Any other strategy is far worse. If you're going to take a fatalistic approach, which I'm assuming Destiny is, and saying that he doesn't think these policies will ever change, the Democrats will change the policies, then I guess you're probably correct. If you don't think the Democrats will ever change these policies, this would be the winning strategy. I think if there was, I think if the people on the left, including internet pundits like Destiny and all these other people, were pushing to change these policies, I think it would have an impact. I think it would. Dr. Diller for $3 says, now hold on. Have we checked this guy's voting history? Maybe he checked out a book about Trump at the library once. Yes, this has a typical MAGA behavior. Of course, he's a psychopathic murderer. Yeah. Yeah, if this guy was a white person who didn't like Ukraine, then you know that the mainstream media would have gone crazy with this story. Anonymous Cow for $5 says, these Destiny and Ace takes are so bad for the Democrats. Democrats need to gatekeep people like this out of the party if they ever plan on winning. They care more about rhetorical wins than policy. Fuck them. Arrhythmus for $2 says, this is the latest in a long line of stories where a repeat offender is back on the streets only to kill an innocent person for no reason. It reveals the systemic failure of our justice system to keep known criminals locked up. Very, very true. Arrhythmus for $2 says, can you guys explain all the outrage about the boat being taken out? What is so different about this than the military action we routinely take against other militant criminal groups, such as Somali pirates, for example? You know, it's funny that you say that because I had that exact conversation with my parents yesterday. This is, if you don't know, the boat that, the Venezuelan boat that we blew up, I guess with a space laser maybe, that the Trump administration is saying they were smuggling drugs. The only argument to me the counter argument to me that makes sense is when it comes to, because this is what I asked my parents. I'm like, why are you so against this? But like, were you against Obama, like drone striking terrorists and stuff? And the only counter argument to me that makes sense is if it's possible that you can arrest someone or detain someone or capture someone, you should do that. You should only resort to drone strikes and things of that nature when you just physically can't. And oftentimes it'd be like, they had some terrorist guy in Pakistan. They can't have like a U.S. helicopter fly in and drop down and like grab a person or whatever. So they have to do, the drone strike, or it's like far riskier to do something like that. So they do the drone strike. With this case, I haven't looked into it enough to know what the exact specifics were. If the Navy could have just captured that boat without really any risk themselves, which I would think they would if, fuck all these Navy ships are there, then they should have done that action. If they can't capture the ship without risk themselves, then I don't have a problem with them blowing it up whatsoever. And I don't really have a problem conceptually with the government blowing up, well, assuming that these people were actually running drugs and not innocent people, obviously, and that they'd have good intelligence on that. But assuming that it is true that they were doing this stuff, I don't really have a problem whatsoever with our government using the military to blow up drug cartel members in foreign countries who are selling drugs and shipping drugs to America and killing people. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I think we should do stuff like that.
What if the country is against it? What if the country gets chapped about it?
Then they can fuck off. If they don't either have the will or the resources to stop criminal gangs from sending drugs to our country and killing Americans, then they don't get a voice in the conversation. Or they should be happy about it. Why would they not be happy if they're not corrupt? If they're
that's their
of
main source of income.
Well, then they can fuck off.
I guess you'd call that corruption.
I would. I'd say then
they
can
just call it
shit.
a paycheck.
Right. Arithmetic Futuro says, for what I'm hearing is my $2 Streamlabs is worth more money than a $5 super chat from iPhone based. Yeah, we should start reading the super chats first as they come in to try to incentivize people to switch to Streamlabs. So maybe we'll start doing that.
This is fucking horrifying now. So the rest of the tape has been leaked. Like this girl could have totally been saved. Like she's sitting there fucking bleeding to death.
Did he only stab her like once?
Yeah, until she goes unconscious. So she literally fucking bleeds out with these people walking away from her.
That's insane. Because
nobody called 911. Nobody fucking called 911.
Well,
is
that
insane.
true? Nobody called the police?
Well, what the fuck? Where's the 911 call?
Well, I don't know. I'm saying people could have easily walked away and then immediately called the police, like outside of the camera.
We are fucking gonna find out because we're gonna hear those 911 calls. Leaving a girl to bleed to death on the fucking train because you don't have the temerity to call the police. Oh my god. This is just fucking horrendous. This is horrendous.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy that no one rushed. I mean, she looks like she died.
She could have easily fucking lived if this video. Look.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It looks like she's bleeding out really quickly, but that is pretty. Oh wait, someone is saying because I have someone sent me a longer clip. That's like 49 seconds. Someone is claiming they have a screenshot that right after the clip ends, there's a black guy who runs over and is like trying to stop the bleeding. So this could all be fake propaganda. This could be exactly the thing they were talking about.
In the other video that I saw, you could hear someone running up to her going, "Oh my God, fuck," as the guy is leaving through the other train car.
Right.
So that's probably the guy that said, "Oh my God, fuck."
Yeah, maybe.
He's probably the guy that ran up.
Let me see. This is the problem this is the problem with, and this is to give credence to Ace's point. If it's because there's a screenshot that I saw, I can't find an unedited video. If someone has the full unedited video sent to me, there's a screenshot of a guy who appears to be a black guy appearing to try to put pressure on the wound to stop her from bleeding out on the floor. And if the video is literally edited in such a way that it cuts right before that happens, then it's hard for me to...
That's completely racist propaganda.
Yeah,
completely racist propaganda. They don't want to say that a black guy came in and saved.
Right. It's hard for me to imagine people are not doing this for racist reasons then. So...
Yeah. I mean,
that's pretty crazy. That's pretty insane. So... someone says, I saw the full video. What was it what someone's claiming? They said, I saw the full video. A woman behind her and the man behind her got up and screamed for help. A black man ran up and desperately tried to stop the bleeding. Within a minute, she had already lost an unsurvivable amount of blood. Yeah, it looked like she bled out super quick. So he must have hit her like right in the major artery. Several other people from the train rushed over to help and comfort her. Passengers screaming, crying, and praying to God. That's what happened. No one casually walked off or ignored, as many accounts reported. Okay, now we got to go find the full video now. So, and really like analyze this. So,
Well, man, I in this video, I see two people walking off. They're not casually walking off. They're walking
Right.
off like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
yeah. Well, I've been not in a situation where someone got stabbed, but I've been in situations where shit goes down, and in almost every actually, I say in every situation where something is starting to go down, I notice people have the worst reactions. They usually completely freeze or panic, like they do not react correctly in the situation. So it would not surprise me if it took like 45 seconds for someone to like get the fuck, wake the fuck up and actually do the right thing.
Well, look, this is also
like
the problem with this like police situation where you don't know that you're going to call the cops and this guy's going to be back on the streets later that evening looking for your fucking ass.
Yeah.
Like you don't, that's a horrible situation for people to contemplate when they should be calling 911. And that's what these soft on crime policies get you. Nobody wants to call 911 because they don't want to be hunted by this guy later. Because no one's going to incarcerate him. No one's going to take him off the street. You're still going to be living with him. He's still going to be your next door neighbor.
Right.
It's fucking bullshit. It's total bullshit.
I will blame the passengers for, even without seeing the full videos, that they should have not only tried to help this woman, but they should have attempted to take that guy down immediately. So part of the problem too is that it's not even, I think it like people don't understand this too, and they'll not understand this because they're watching a video where we all know the facts. When these things go down, they happen so quickly that most people don't even realize what's happening. Even if they see like a guy hit her, he's like, "Oh, why that guy just hit her," and then walked off. They don't be like, "Oh, this guy stabbed her in the neck and she's dying." Like that's gonna take seconds to process.
No, that is a fair point. That's a totally fair point. Yeah,
seconds in which that person's gonna die because people don't even understand what happens.
Right.
And then from our perspective, where we already know the facts, so we're already looking at the situation.
Yeah, they could have just thought he punched her. They don't know that she's been stabbed. Although, I mean, I would like to see the situation. It looks like there was blood dripping all over the place, so it's kind of hard for me to imagine.
Once you see the blood dripping all over the place, but those people, the people that didn't jump on that guy, beat the shit out of him, are super cucked and should be ashamed of themselves. But good, at least someone tried to run over and stop the blood, and someone supposedly called the police. So
yeah, they caught the guy.
Yes, I think they caught him pretty quickly. So,
well, he's all over video.
Orca for $5 says, "I guess the question would be if Normie sending Nick content would stand behind his views, or if they just like something he said. Not great either way." Yeah, I don't know. The question would be. It's part of the indoctrination. If you have Groyper saying shit or Nick Fuentes saying shit that's like on the edge of racism, and he's basically sucking people into that pit. So Saul for $2 says Destiny also has the same give them an inch, they take a mile approach to Gaza, thinking it will help neo-Nazis if he criticizes Israel. Also, sorry if I missed it, but have you talked about the Destiny pedo allegations yet? We didn't really talk about it. I think we briefly mentioned it when it kind of all came out, but I don't know if I really have that much to say about that story. I don't know if you have anything to really say about the story. Obviously, it's kind of hilariously stupid for Destiny to engage in that conversation with Willie Mack and to keep the material the way he kept it. So, or supposedly kept it. I don't know.
And I mean, just a brazen. I mean, he thinks, I mean, obviously, Willie Mack doesn't want it to come out later that he knew this and didn't report it immediately.
Right.
So, I mean, to just like this weird brazen attitude that, oh, Willie Mack will keep my secret.
Yeah, why would he think that? It's so weird to me that he would think that, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna tell William Actus I
Yeah.
have this video of I've kept the video of a 17-year-old, doing sex acts. And be
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, he's gonna be cool with that. It's like, what? Okay.
exactly.
Strange. Very strange.
Exactly. And I mean, he responds that way too. He
Yeah.
basically responds, "Did you just tell me you have CP on your hard drive? Like, what the
Right.
fuck? Can you imagine
Right.
such a thing?"
I know. So funny.
Oh, it's
Sulfur
cool,
Chair says
bro. They need it for the investigation.
they need it for the
So,
investigation. Yeah, right.
oh, really?
Yeah. Sulfur says we need to differentiate between long-term and short-term solutions. Long-term address mental health, short-term lock up dangerous people. As a Christian, I think it's appropriate to feel sorry for him, but the victim comes first. Yeah, I agree with that completely. You gotta get them off the streets before you can even do any sort of giving people the mental help that they need. So
Yeah.
Fondue Futura says, how much censorship do we have on YouTube that can't be said on Streamlabs? A lot. Because I think you can say whatever you want on Streamlabs, I think. So also, I didn't really know about this until I saw Red Letter Media talking about it. Apparently there's like some weird fucking thing on YouTube. And I don't know if this has been affecting our channel. It might have been. A lot of channels have been saying that their views have gone down because there's like this weird restricted mode on YouTube where, and it doesn't even some people's like YouTube accounts get switched to a restricted mode. And if it does, they don't see like almost all of your content. So people could just think that we're not even making content when we are. We're not showing up in their feed or the recommendations because they're in this restricted mode and they don't even realize it. And it was affecting even like the Red Letter Media people, like who they don't do contentious content really, and they were saying that like their views were significantly down ever since this change went into effect. So be aware of yourself. Make sure you're not in this like weird YouTube restricted mode, and let anyone who watches YouTube stuff to also make sure they're not in this weird restricted mode.
We have people tell us that all the time, that they thought we stopped making content. They haven't seen our stuff for ages, and
yes,
so maybe that's
this is even
happened to them.
newer.
Maybe that's
been
excuse.
that's been a continual problem. But this is like
Yeah.
even supposedly it's like a blown up recently to be an even bigger problem. So
I mean,
in the
I'm
last month.
subscribed to about 8,000 channels, so I'm not sure. I think it might be my way of doing YouTube when I don't recognize people are making videos. How many channels are you subscribed to, Sitch?
I'm subscribed to a lot, but I usually, often because we're looking for content, I manually always check through all my subscriptions.
Yeah.
Not go to the channels, like go through the subscriptions page, which most people, I don't know how many people do that. I think they just kind of look at their recommendations. So,
yeah, they're on the home tab.
Yeah. Though there are times where I'm like, oh, one of my favorite YouTubers put out a video like 2 weeks ago, and it just never popped up for me. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it's weird because there'll be times where I'll watch a lot of YouTubers' content and it just never gets recommended to me. And there's YouTubers who I don't watch their content and it's just nonstop spit into my feed. And it's very
Same experience here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you read Adam Gadbaw's super chat yet about Wick calling you out? Okay,
there's some came in while I was reading the Streamlabs.
That's good. Okay.
Fondue Futura says, how much censorship? Oh, I read that one. Solid Futura says, one of the leftist biggest bugaboos, rightfully, is male violence against women. If the guy's a perfect villain, to invent one of their terms, fuck that chud and throw him in the pit. But here they tap dance around it. That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah. Or if the victim was like a trans woman or something, right? As long as the perpetrator has to be like a white male or a white person, they just can't talk about it otherwise. So. Fondue Pretender says, as someone who's been attacked on the streets by a crazy guy, I'm currently experiencing the drip feed of alerts from arrest to hospital to MAI. Or do you mean MIA? From court? Who knows where the story goes? That's crazy. That's so horrible. That's so fucked up. I remember, let's see if I can find it. There's an account I follow. Yeah, I follow Dying Scribe, also Poselaw on X. And he told us this story. He said, back in 2022, I beat up some random guy because he just punched my girlfriend in the time's face for no reason. Literally, she was just sitting down and he just came out of nowhere and punched her. I then had to go to courts for months later to find out the guy had been released multiple times for attacking people and refusing to take his medication. I was then in court to watch him receive a suspended sentence for doing what he's done so many other times before, as long as he promised to stay on his meds, even though the exact same thing had been told to him before as a justification for suspension of a sentence. Yes, mental health should be taken seriously, but there's a limit on empathy for those who can't control themselves when it comes to the damage they do to others. I think
Fuck yeah.
I think that if there's a person that has mental health problems and they keep promising to take their Medicaid, first of all, you should just lock them up, right? But if they keep getting out, they keep causing problems, they keep promising their medications, they don't. I think you should just execute them. The state should just execute them. You are a danger to society. You are not getting better. We're not going to allow you to harm other people. We don't care. We need to say, listen, it sucks that nature rolled you a bad hand, but that doesn't mean you get to make everyone else's lives miserable. Fuck you. You're gone. Okay. We don't need scum, just dragging everyone else down because of their own problems.
This is the most right-wing position. Holy shit. You're like, we need to just euthanize them. You can't put them in a mental institution. We used to put them in a mental institution, right? Cut half their brain out.
There you go. Do that. I don't care. There's no difference. There's no difference between the two things, really. So
I'm receptive to this argument. I think obviously people are going to have a problem with euthanizing the mentally ill. I mean, they want to worry about stereotypes of the mentally ill. They're not talking about euthanizing them. Euthanizing them could create a negative stereotype of mentally ill people. Sitch, you should think of that.
There you go. Did you guys cover the Hodge twins' odious interview? I don't think we ever covered the Hodge twins on doing anything.
I don't think we
didn't. They interview who did they interview? Who was it? They interviewed someone crazy. I don't remember who it was. Recently, that people were like, "What the fuck?"
Milo had an interview too. I saw you tweet it out, but I didn't know what it was all about.
Milo had a conversation with Candace Owens, and they're both just talking about, and it was like an insane conversation where they were saying the founding fathers were gay and lame, and it's just really just exposing how much James Lindsay was right about the alt-right, woke right, just fucking hating America and being terrible. So
yeah,
the Hodge twins interviewed Nick Fuentes. Oh my god, tell me the Hodge twins gave some softball interview to Nick Fuentes. Jesus Christ. That'd be the ultimate cuckery if they did.
You don't think Nick Fuentes is racist, right?
Oh yeah. You're being sarcastic, so I know. But
a lot of people will argue that Nick Fuentes isn't racist.
It's really obnoxious. Even when Nick Fuentes, even the whole playing the game where Nick Fuentes pretends he's not racist is kind of gone. There's still a lot of people that reflexively pretend. So
well, they like him and they hate racism, so they have cognitive dissonance that needs to be resolved.
No. That is not true. That is not. There's no one that has that position.
No one that likes Nick Fuentes and is not racist.
No,
really?
Yes. What's going on is that there's two things. There's people that don't.
Destiny sucked his dick, and I don't.
Well, that's true. There's two things. There's two things that's happening with this. There's either people who don't know anything about Nick Fuentes or know very little, and they just are brain rotted by the left crying wolf on racism, so they refuse to think of anyone as racism, and they become basically an NPC in the other direction. That's one. Then there's two, the people who are grippers and white nationalists themselves, who just very, very dishonestly lie about the positions because they want to engage in a propaganda campaign to suck people down that pathway. So
Richard Spencer did the same thing. Richard Spencer was constantly like, "Oh, of course I'm not racist."
Yes, of course.
Racism would be if I thought white people were superior to black people. Oh, I don't think that.
Right. They talked to Nick. Did they? Jesus, I don't really watch the Hodge twins. Did they just cuck out to Nick on everything? Because that's pretty fucking pathetic. That's pretty Uncle Ruckus type behavior. So if that's the case, I would hope that they would push back and call him a fucking piece of shit. But I don't really watch the Hodge twins.
Nick has had dinner with the president.
That is true.
I mean, he was thrown out, but
that is true. And the thing, the interview with Milo and Candace was very interesting because I joked about this. Because Milo is out here, I thought, still pretending to be straight and Christian, and yet in his conversation with Candace, he sounds incredibly gay and high as fuck. He's like he's tweaking out of his mind in that conversation. He's definitely looked like he's on speed or coke or something. So Hodgkins have
Afro
been Uncle
Fry Cook
Ruckus
in the
for like 5 years.
Afro Fry Cook in the chat says Fuentes pissed off the white nationalists by saying racial hatred is emotional and gay.
I did see that clip.
I don't
Yeah,
know
it
if
was really
that's
funny.
true or not.
It is interesting. He's been sort of making these weird pivots. I don't know if it's because he's trying to become more mainstream now. I think he's leaning more heavily on the Christian nationalism versus the race nationalism.
Mhm.
Maybe he's trying to make that pivot because he thinks he can kind of pivot to be more mainstream. But I don't think it's gonna be possible. At least possible to distance himself from his army of fucking racists. So no, he's back to being gay. Oh, really? Okay, I can't keep up. So I don't know what's going on with Milo. Adam Gadbaugh for $5 says Wick called you out on a show yesterday, Sitch. He's in denial about the media bias against white people too, but not that shocking for a Democrat. Wow. Okay, I didn't see that clip. I saw he responded to one of my posts on X, and that he's very skeptical that there's some sort of ideological narrative, which I like Wick a lot, and I usually agree with him on things. So I was kind of surprised to see him have that take. I'll check it out.
We should have him on to debate that.
Yeah, we could definitely talk to him about that. MA566 for $5 says, you guys should do an episode on Fuentes. I keep hearing Nick bad, but no one's ever shows any clips. We have shown clips about this, but I mean, it was a while ago. So do you really need the refresher? We showed clip. Remember, there was the whole thing we fucking talked about this with, which was one of the most insane fucking conversations I've ever had in my fucking life. We talked about this with Nick Rekieta. This was during the whole, because there's that whole Rumble controversy where Nick was like talking about how Jews shouldn't be able to like own companies in America, and that non-white people can't create Western societies, and then that got banned off of Rumble. And then there's a whole conversation because like Vito kind of alerted Rumble to it in the first place, so people were saying, how dare you, Vito, you're anti-free speech, blah 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 blah. I guess people just don't remember, but we did watch clips of that on this channel. I could have swore. So I know we had a big argument about it with Rekieta. Mike Mills for $5 says, it's funny to me that MAGA keeps bringing up her nationality as if they ever gave a fuck about Ukrainians before this. Yeah, I mean, they don't care. It's just, I think they'd only bring it up in terms of like to wave in the left's face to say, see, you don't really care about Ukrainians dying because you didn't really care about this Ukrainian dying. So Work for $5 says, do you guys rate Weapons? Oh, the movie Weapons. I'd say it's 5 out of 10. I still really liked it, but best movie I've seen in a while. Warfare is great too. Maybe not for review though. I mean, we did a review of Weapons on our media channel, which we did a live stream on it. You can check it out. I don't know if we gave it
5 out of 10. Jeez, that's like harsh.
I don't know if we gave it a number review. I give it like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good.
7.5.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid movie.
Yeah.
I don't really like horror movies, and I thought it was very, very solid. There's some things I talked about that I would have liked that they didn't do in the movie, but
I'd give it a 7.69 out of 10 rating.
Right.
Just to be specific.
It's like you're doing The Price is Right on me. You're going like one higher. Okay.
It's just, I was fascinated by the fact that you went like the 7.5. As if 1 out of 10 wasn't good enough. You're like,
because I don't know.
Good for you.
Because now I think 8 out of 10, I wouldn't give it quite 8 out of 10, but I think it's better than a 7 out of 10. So 7.5, right?
Yeah, you got to give it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Fight Club or Matrix, or it's not like a earth-shattering movie.
Sure.
And you got to save the 10s for something that's like,
it's a solid horror movie.
Right.
The Oceanus for $5 says, I think what annoys me is that the same people who, quote, picked the bear vote in politicians who let this guy out. Even his mom want him locked up. That's a great point. That's a great fucking point. How is it the same people? That's such a good point. That will pick the bear over the man in the hypothetical situation are the same people that let these fucking psychos run free. What is going on there? That's why, well, that was, if you remember the pick the bear conversation, it was kind of funny. There were some people that were saying, okay, you have to choose between a bear and a black man. What do you do? And then people would be like fucking stun locked into answering that question. They're
As
like,
long as it was a white man, it was
yeah,
hands down, go with the bear, right?
right.
White men are dangerous.
Right. That's so funny. Board 3659 for Joe says you guys should get JJ McCullen on at some point.
I don't know if
Sure.
we can. He's pretty big, so.
Oh, I seen him talk. He talks with PF Young all the time.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Yeah. He has a terrible take on Epstein, but I don't. But maybe, yeah. Lethal Strain for Joe says the guy is being charged federally now. Well, that's good. That's good.
Is he being charged with a hate crime?
He should be.
That's another thing. They deem these people incompetent to stand trial. So they're a murderer, and they're too fucking dumb to even stand trial, and you're just going to be like, well, we got to let him go.
Gotta let him go, obviously.
Like, what the fuck is going on there?
Yep.
That's not safe.
Yep. Okay.
If you have a dog that bites somebody, they're like, they put it down. They put the fucking dog down. They don't let it go and bite other people. How is this a thing?
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Okay. We should bring up the picture though, because I didn't want to talk about this. We obviously talked about this story for a long time. I didn't want to talk about the little Epstein photo coming out.
Oh, okay.
Just want to bring it out real quick. So this was very interesting because obviously there was the Wall Street Journal had the story about how Trump had sent this birthday letter to Epstein that was going to be placed, and we read it, and it was very weird and cringy and bizarre. It made it sound like Trump and Epstein were like sharing a girlfriend or something creepy like that. And Trump denied the whole situation, said it was fake news, said it was totally, totally fake. And he was suing the Wall Street Journal for like $20 jillion or, whatever, the amount of money was for defamation, saying it was fake. I believe it was for $10 billion or something. So, but now they have released the actual picture of the letter. And more importantly, they got the picture of this letter. The House Oversight Committee got the picture of this letter directly from the Epstein estate. Okay. It's directly from the Epstein estate, which this would be important for the lawsuit because this would absolve, even if theoretically the letter was fake, this would probably most likely absolve the Wall Street Journal of any sort of liability whatsoever, because why would they think that Jeffrey Epstein's estate would create a fake book from 20 years ago, and in that book, which is full of seemingly real documents and real pictures of Jeffrey Epstein, there's one fake letter from Donald Trump that was smuggled into it? It would be not reasonable for the Wall Street Journal to think that that was fake because of that and to not report on that story. So they're going to 100% win their case against Donald Trump easily because of this.
Yeah, and we learned that Donald Trump can't draw women.
There you go. There you go. But also, just it seems to me that this letter is completely genuine, 100%. And I do think that the people that are still pushing on the letters fake thing it feels very copish to me at this point. So, because then you're saying that the Epstein estate created a fake letter that they somehow inserted into a book from 20 years ago that has Trump's signature and, this drawing and all this other stuff.
Right. So his case is pretty much sank. Didn't JD Vance respond to this letter thing?
He did. I read it. That's why I said he was basically doing the Democrats don't actually care about Epstein victims, so you shouldn't talk about the issue.
Right.
It was kind of, the similar argument of, the right doesn't really care about Ukraine or people getting stabbed in trains, so you shouldn't talk about this issue.
Right. The Democrats are just doing it to dunk on us.
Yes.
So.
The irony, yes, the great irony is that JD Vance made the literal same faulty logical argument about this as people are making about the stabbing story.
The murder. Yeah.
Yes, the stabbing murder. So
Fucking sucks.
there was also, now you have to take this with a grain of salt because it is Project Veritas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. Did you see that Project Veritas thing?
I did not. No, tell me about it.
To my shock, because Project Veritas has almost always gone after the left. To my shock, Project Veritas has a video of someone who works in Trump's Justice Department claiming that they believe, at a high-ranking person, claiming they believe the Trump administration is going to corruptly remove all names and instances of Trump and Republicans from the Epstein files and only highlight anyone from the left and Democrats.
And then release it?
Them. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So they did some undercover investigation and got someone saying that?
Yes. Which I first of all, I just said, it is Project Veritas, which I'm always skeptical of, and I've always said this because they don't release the full video. So it can always be, things could always be clipped out of context in a way to be deceptive, but it's definitely merits looking into, because I'm guessing that it's just, and I sent you the clip if you want to bring it up. I'm guessing it's just this guy's opinion. He doesn't know, just his opinion.
Oh, okay. That's a bit.
Yeah, that's definitely different. But the fact that that they're saying he is the Department of Justice deputy chief, that is pretty bad if there is a high-ranking official in the Department of Justice who is saying all this and believes all this, which would, to me, signal that this merits a deeper look to see what to make sure this isn't cut out of context, or if it's cut out of context, and then if it's actually going on, to do some sort of independent investigation, because I 100% believe, and I think you'd have to be foolish not to believe this, that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are just stooges for Trump, and they will do whatever he says at this point, especially regarding the Epstein stuff.
Yeah, I was going to ask who the guy in the video is. Is it Destiny? Because obviously Destiny thinks they're going to do that. So
this is
but it's somebody in the Department of Justice, right?
It's the Department of Justice deputy chief.
Okay.
Okay, so
how long is he gonna last?
That's a good question. Well, they're kind of in a bad situation, because if they fire him, doesn't it kind of make it seem
I know
legitimate, right?
He just figured out how to hold on to his job, didn't he?
Yes.
He's like, oh yeah,
right.
Fire me now, bitch.
Okay, we can watch a little bit of this if you clip the.
J-Mac gave us a $200 super chat. You should read it.
I didn't even see it.
Oh,
J-Mac, thanks so much. I check it for our dad, J-Mac, for $200. Says, I just watched the HBO bit. Holy shit. One of the reasons that I set so hard against all the CRT crap is because I can't imagine attaching some sins of the father's BS to my kids based on something so frivolous and uncontrollable skin color. Ads like that will make people actually racist. That's completely true.
I completely agree.
Completely fucking true. Yes.
Can you imagine this generation?
Yes.
To save them.
It's scary. It's scary. Okay. Do you want to do 3, 2, 1?
What is the video?
I sent it to you.
Oh, you did?
It's the X video.
You
don't have to watch like the first minute or 30 seconds of it.
That's where
the clip is, where the guy's talking about this. So
this is the undercover clip.
Yes. Yes.
Coming right up.
Okay. Thank you.
It's just a matter of time.
There you go.
It's definitely going to be here soon.
Any second now.
Well, it's almost there.
Yeah, it's almost. Oh, you're almost there, baby. Just got to hold out for another couple seconds.
Here it is, baby. Here it is, baby.
Right.
Ready?
Right.
Gonna blow your mind. 3, 2, 1. This is an 8-minute clip, though. We're
only gonna watch like 30 seconds or a minute of it. So
okay, as soon as you start talking, I'll pause.
Yeah. Right.
3, 2, 1, go.
But those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files. Leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
Got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. they're offering her something to keep it on show.
That was the acting deputy chief of the Office of Enforcement Operations, Joseph Schnitt, telling a stranger about the FBI and DOJ's handling of the Epstein files. Schnitt, who works at a high level inside the Department of Justice, goes on to comment on the inconsistent statements, special treatment of Ghislaine Maxwell, and the blatant backtracking on promises of transparency.
And what do you do for work here?
I work for the Department of Justice.
Okay.
Been there like 23 years. I'm an analyst. I'll be acting deputy chief of our office for a few months starting next week.
So he says, actually, that's important. He says, I'll be acting deputy chief of our office. So he's not actually, he wasn't at the time of this recording, but. So
I just wish they would show the girl, like, what kind of top is she wearing, just to get these people to spill all the beans.
Yes. Well, that's what they do. I mean, that's what they do. They
It's
honey
like a
trap these
honeypot,
people.
right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. There was actually, if I see if I can find it, there was some like Pam Bondi response to this, which was kind of silly.
Oh, really?
But like, well, basically saying that this guy was
Is a janitor?
Was no, that this guy was honey trapped like on a dating app. You know, somehow they found this guy and figured out where he worked, and you know, they honey trap him on a couple of dates. They get him to spill the beans, which is what, you know, what Project Veritas always does. So it's always, and it's hard to tell because like you're always like, well, is this really what the person believes, or they're just trying to show off for a woman? Which has always been kind of my problem with Project Veritas.
So Pam Bondi was saying that he only did it to get some action.
Well, he shouldn't say that. That's the implication, right? So,
yeah.
But
a man telling a woman what she wants to hear so
There
that
you
he
go.
can get in her pants. That's never happened.
right.
Never, ever happened.
That all being said, the Trump administration, I think, has no credibility, zero credibility regarding anything Epstein related. I think you'd have to be foolish to trust the Trump administration on anything Epstein related whatsoever, considering their current handling of it. So I wouldn't trust a single thing that comes out of the Trump administration regarding Epstein without some sort of independent investigation that everyone, both sides can agree is a nonpartisan actor.
Oh, we said months ago that they were going to do this, that they were going to take out all the conservative
Yes.
names and just leave the liberal names.
Yes.
That's what's taken so long. So
Right.
I don't think Joseph knows that. He's just saying that to get laid. But
Well, he might. I mean, it's just his opinion. Now, I don't know what he's basing it off of. If he's actually heard them have conversations about this, or if it's just, you know, he read the newspaper too, versus his like reading social media. These are important.
or he just
facts
has
here.
TDS. Who knows?
Sure, but I mean, I don't think you should throw TDS accusations at people. I think that's the same as calling people racist without really good evidence for it whatsoever, because you're just instantly discrediting their opinion. So.
Well, I didn't say he has TDS. I said a person with TDS might behave this way.
Okay. Sure,
which
sure.
I think is true.
Yeah, theoretically, but
I mean, he could actually know something and be just telling the honest truth. So
that's true.
if he
It
didn't
merits
have
looking
TDS
into.
and was doing that, then.
Definitely merits
Yeah.
looking into.
But I mean, obviously there are people that do have TDS. So.
Yeah.
Well, and it's sad. It's very sad. I have a lot of friends that have TDS, and I feel very sorry for them. They just can't think straight. Ever. It's constantly,
Some people are saying
consumed.
this story doesn't matter. If you're gonna get all riled up about a crazy person stabbing a lady on a bus, and you're not gonna get riled up about the government covering up a massive pedophile sex ring, I think you need to re-examine your biases. Like, I understand not getting as enraged about it because it's been an issue that we've been talking about. So the hot emotions have flared regarding this. But if you're going to say that the Epstein stuff and the government's involvement and Trump's involvement in covering this up is a not story, then it's hard for me to take that seriously. I think you're just being incredibly biased at that point. So we as a country cannot operate if we have a justice system that allows violent criminals to roam free, and we as a country cannot operate if our government is engaged in corruption on the highest level that is protecting child sex traffickers intentionally, whether it be for a blackmail ring or just because they're getting paid off. We cannot function as a country if that's what's going on with our government.
Yeah, and it's the right that is always enraged by this. It's their
Yes.
job really to protect us from the child sex traffickers.
Yes.
They've taken it upon themselves. The left wants to turn child sex trafficking into a sexual orientation. So obviously they're not going to do anything about it.
You got to say the far left. I don't think the normal left wing person wants to do that. But
that's fair. That's fair. The far left, yes.
The far left does want to do that. Yes.
But the moderate left, I think, is a little. I mean, sometimes they're very weak sauce on that stuff and calling out the far left.
They're weak sauce on any calling out the far left on anything. So
yeah. So
yeah.
But yeah, look, the left is good at some things. I know you guys don't want to believe it, but there can be actual racism in the world that the left is good, hyper fixated on pointing out, and that's a good thing. We shouldn't have racism in our society. Unfortunately, they fall down a lot on when it comes to white racism, which is a big part of the problem. But and the right is super good at sniffing out the pedophiles and whatnot. So the fucking sex traffickers and shit. So we can't fall down on that responsibility. You can't fall down on that responsibility, right wingers.
No, you cannot.
Just because Trump's name is all over the Epstein files. Still got to release that shit.
Nope. The conflict of interest is pretty massive at this point with the Epstein stuff. So
it is.
I don't think we're ever going to get to the bottom of it. I do think the Trump administration is going to either not release anything or they're going to just be incredibly deceptive about the whole thing and only release like little bits. So there was one other thing that was crazy. I sent you that picture. This was also, now it didn't say, I don't know if we know who drew this picture. It was not Trump.
I was wondering if you wanted to bring the picture up.
I do, because it is crazy. Well, it's weird because you can go to the House Oversight Committee's website. If you just type in on Google like House Oversight Committee Epstein stuff, they'll be like the first result, and you can actually download the full or the majority of the birthday book yourself. And you can go through it. And I was kind of looking through it, and I mean, first of all, it's just crazy the amount of that book is dedicated to weird sex shit that Epstein was involved in. Like, obviously, this is a person who is just nonstop doing degenerate shit, like 24/7, his entire life. And so much of the book is dedicated to that. And then, but one of the weird things is, and I didn't say who drew this picture, but someone drew this picture of Epstein, and it's a picture of Epstein. It says 1983, and it shows Epstein. He's got like torn clothes, like he's poor because he came from like a poor family, and he appears to be luring children with lollipops. Okay.
Yeah.
Like he's like, get in my fucking van, with lollipops. And then it says 2003, and it shows Epstein on his island. He's got a bunch of hot ladies massaging him. And it says, what a great country.
Jet in the background.
Yeah, and the woman is giving him a hand job or something.
This is the rags to riches pedophile story that you've all been terrified of your entire life.
The thing that's crazy about this picture, whoever fucking drew this, is it definitely is like, okay, was there anyone like this makes it seem like all of Epstein's friends knew that this guy was a pedophile, sex pest, degenerate psycho?
Right.
Because how could you draw
he's a
this?
billionaire, so what are you gonna do, Sitch?
I guess you just shrug, right? You go, okay, he's rich, so
Powerful
he gets to be a
people.
pedo. So totally fucking crazy.
Ugh.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yep. Horrible. Well, this was a lovely, positive, optimistic show, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we got angry. People like it when we get angry. So
that's true.
I wish we had things to get happy about.
It would be nice, but
this story was really consuming my thoughts yesterday. I couldn't stop thinking about it just because the horrific imagery. It's so terrifying. You always think, oh, that could be one of my loved ones. That could be someone I care about. Fucking the people who do care about her, the tragedy. that is befalling them. So fucking messed up. I think there's a couple more super chats that came in, and then
Insensitive for $5
Insensitive.
says, for chat, if you want to screw over Indian fraudsters taking U.S. tech jobs, go to jobs.now to find hidden applications.
Is that real?
Okay, I don't know what the fuck that means, but okay.
Watch out. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Lives in Desolate Possibility for $2 says, Epstein is a point for Trump's. Epstein is a point for, quote, Trump's is a 90s Democrat. Yeah, that's another good hope I hear when that comes up. So,
All right. Are we doing something movie related on Thursday? We haven't really discussed. So,
don't know the answer to that question.
okay. I guess we'll talk about it and find out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's something for us to review media wise. We'll do a media review on Thursday. If not, then we'll be here on Thursday talking about politics and the news.
Keep them guessing.
Yes.
Maybe we'll have that hate crime investigation going by then.
Doubtful. Arrhythmus for $2 says, can we get the violent crazy people equivalent of the drug hotel where we put all the violent crazy people together so they can beat each other up and leave us alone? There you go. That's the solution.
Yeah.
That's the empathetic solution.
We'll film it. Call it The Running Man.
Yes.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Later.
Laters. Later. Goodbye.